that was a great experience. And that's where we're most different. That's Friendship Jeep Dodge Ram, and we're located in Forest City.
Looking for a new car? Maybe a pre-owned car or truck, or maybe an SUV. Then let your fingers do the walking and go to whatsupshopper.com. Local dealers with local vehicles. You don't have to drive all over the country. Just click on whatsupshopper.com and take a look at the local selection of cars, trucks, SUVs, and more from local dealers in Gaston, Cleveland, and Lincoln counties. Car shopping just got easier by going to whatsupshopper.com. Pick yours out today.
Is the cost of ink driving your profits down? Then listen up. Discount Ink Jet and Toner is here to help. Discount Ink Jet and Toner specializes in refilling ink jet and toner cartridges. Cut your ink costs by as much as 50% or more. Discount Ink Jet and Toner, located on 410 East Franklin Boulevard in Gastonia. 100% satisfaction guaranteed.
Start your holiday meal off with a big juicy turkey cooked on a Traeger pellet grill from Hometown Hardware in Kings Mountain. If you've been thinking about purchasing a pellet grill, now is the time to take a look at the Traeger Junior Elite Grill at Hometown Hardware. And your turkey will be the juiciest ever with a Traeger Turkey Blend. Now $5 off the regular price. And style and profile with the new Low Country North Carolina logo head. See the selection today at Hometown Hardware, 110 South Railroad Avenue in Kings Mountain. And see their page at whatsupshopper.com. It's time to order your office and party packs from Hillbillies Barbecue and Steaks in Lowell. Party plates are just $7.99 per person with a 15-person minimum. The standard menu includes barbecue pork, sauce, and beans, plus coleslaw, potato salad, buns, sweet tea, ice, plates, cups, eating and serving utensils. Other items also available. Call for details at 704-824-8838 from the all-new Hillbillies Barbecue and Steaks. Now located at 305 South Main Street in Lowell. Online at hillbilliesbbqsteaks.com.
The game plays right here.
Are you ready for some football?
Your sports leader, WOHS Shelby, WLON Lincoln, and WCSL Cherryville Gastonia.
chosen breed. You don't see too many like me, cause I am one of the reasons you do what you do, when you wanna be me instead of you, cause I am still on beat, showing love to the streets. Come on, you know me, cause that's who I am. Chosen breed, you don't see too many like me, cause I am one of the reasons you do what you do, when you wanna be me instead of you, cause I am still on beat, showing love to the streets. Come on, you know me, cause that's who I am.
And good morning to another Saturday morning sports talk with normally Kevin Hastings, Hunter Yancey, Thompson Afani, and Terry Reinhardt. But unfortunately, as most of you can probably see, Terry is on Kevin's camera.
What?
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to have to get in there and fix it.
Has this thing got me here?
Yeah, it's got you. It's got you.
Is that my camera there?
Yes.
Yeah. That's my camera.
But I got to come in there and fix it. It's really bad.
Yeah, that'll just be something that we can work on during the breaks. But yes, good morning, everybody that is tuned in. Thank you, JP, for bringing us in. What JP was getting at was Kevin is not here this morning. I will be running the show. Kevin has let us all know that he's not feeling well today, so hope he starts to feel better throughout the day. I know he was excited about the fights tonight, so hopefully he'll feel good enough to where he can watch the fights tonight. Well,
the fight.
Yeah, the fight. Yeah.
The fight.
Okay.
Some older grown men fighting each other.
I'm just going to be completely honest with you. They said it's not going to start till 11.
11.
I just can't stay up that late, man. 11 o'clock, I got to go to bed, man.
I'm not staying up to watch two older men fight each other.
You could probably just put that up on
Sure you would. Now,
if they were contenders for the heavyweight division,
I bet you if you were at the Apple Festival and two guys had a few too many Miller Lights and got into a fight, you'd start
that's
watching.
a whole different story, Tom. But you talk about two guys who are out of age. I mean, Mike Tyson, okay, so he used to be the best until Buster Douglas floored him, and then he could not win after that. I mean, Evander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis, you just start naming guys that beat him, but
he lost it mentally. You know what I mean? He lost it.
And then he had somebody taking all of his money.
Yeah.
Don King and people, but you're going to stay up. And don't get me wrong, some people are going to be influenced by what they can do, but these are two guys who, they had to fight Wilder or Fury, those two guys would knock both of these guys out in the first or second round.
Yeah. I mean, it's just this, like my generation just likes nostalgia. So I know that there's going to be a lot of 40-something-year-old guys out there watching this fight tonight, reliving their middle school years. But, there's some places that have offered me to watch it. I was going to come in. I don't think Kevin's going to be able to come in tonight and watch it. So I think that I'll just watch the highlights on SportsCenter in the morning or something. I don't think I'm going to watch this. What about you, Hunter? Are you going to watch this?
I'm not watching it.
That was quick.
Yeah, that's me.
I'm not. Listen, I said this during the week. This is 20 years too late. And, of course, I wouldn't have been probably alive at the time to see it anyways. But to me, it's 20 years too late. I'd much rather see somebody that's up and coming in the boxing world or another Tyson Fury fight. I know they're trying to schedule a third fight for them.
They are, but I'm getting tired of that too. I mean, which don't get me wrong, those are only two guys who are capable of fighting each other anyway right now for a heavyweight title. And don't get me wrong, Mike Tyson, Roy Jr., whatever. I'm proud of what you've done. I'm proud that you kept yourself in shape and able to do this.
He looks good, Tyson.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But neither one of them guys could step in the ring with Fury or Wilder, either one.
I think this fight, because it's not going to be – there's not really going to be declared a winner. It's supposed to be for like a charity event.
Right.
That's where most of the money is going to.
What if one knocks the other out?
Well, then you obviously have a winner. But I think they're scoring it at somehow. But there's the parameters for it is so strange. I don't it's uninterested me. Now, if you were just going to tell me they're straight up going out there and it's just a boxing match, so I would be more interested. But how they're scoring it and the parameters, but they're not wearing headgear. Another reason, though, I don't really want to watch is because, to me, this screams Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao. I got burnt watching that because Floyd ran the whole time.
Yeah, that was awful, wasn't
and
it? Yeah.
I don't know. I know Jones has got a lot of pride as a fighter, but good and well if you're in his corner, you're looking at him saying, "Don't you get hit? Don't you take one of these punches to the face? Yeah. This man still's got power. Okay, don't." You can box with him, but don't let him catch you one good time. So I feel like Jones is going to be really defensive, and I am not one that has a love for the defensive fighter. I like both guys to go out there. I don't want to see them hugging up on each other. And I don't know how really, and like they look like they're in great shape, but can they really go 7-8 8 rounds that they're supposed to go.
And what has happened to boxing? 7 or 8 rounds? Come on.
I don't know. It might be.
If you're gonna fight.
They don't have a
12. You know, it used to be 15. You had to go 15 rounds. Or it used to be that it wasn't no round limit till somebody was knocked out.
Well, while we're on boxing, boxing is not as glamorous as it used to be.
No. It needs a hero. You need a hero. And we just haven't had a
You
hero
don't
in a
have
long
one.
time. I don't have one.
And really it's because of the emergence.
You got a hero right now. You still got Terrence Crawford. I mean, this is a young guy who his mom sent people out to fight him as he was growing up. You got to read the whole story behind that guy because he was so cocky, he didn't think anybody could beat him. His mom would hire people and pay them to go fight Terrence Crawford.
I don't think it's the whole you need a hero thing for boxing. What it is the new glamour in fighting is the UFC. It's MMA, mixed martial arts, anything that has to do with that because boxing, where it can be exciting when you get the big hits and the big knockouts, for the most part, it's slow. You're just feeling each other out. You're trying to just be you got your hands up, being protective. You might get one jab here, one jab there. Same with kind of just kickboxing. You know, it's kind of slow. Whereas mixed martial arts, you're gonna have spinning backhands. You're gonna have cartwheels. People jump. You see the craziest things, and that's just what makes it so exciting.
That's right
for some people.
That's right. So we trying to put together something here this morning. Kevin's not here, so we've done a good job getting everything up and running. But just want to mention a few things before we get really rolling into some more sports. Our primary sponsor, Friendship Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, on 190 Oak Street Extension in Forest City, North Carolina. You can call them at 828-919-3001. And also Friendship Nissan, 156 Oak Street Extension, Forest City, North Carolina. Call them at 828-245-1661. Thank you, Friendship, over in Forest City for sponsoring Saturday Morning Sports Talk. And also, Terry, you get to brag on you about bringing us breakfast today. I had a bacon, egg, and cheese on toast. What did you have this morning?
I had a sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit.
I, myself, had the fantastic sunrise wrap. Can't go wrong with that. I enjoy it. I really do. And because it is a wrap, so it's not as heavy on the bread, and I really like it.
I'm just weird because I don't like onions for breakfast, but many other people do. You know, they love their onions in that. I'm not a big onion, but if you do like onions and peppers in your, you like that kind of spicy stuff.
It just reminds me of like a wrapped omelet. That's about what it feels like. The eggs, the sausage, onions, peppers. I really enjoy it. But big thank you, of course, to everybody over at Friendship, as well as Mitchum's Kitchen for feeding us Saturday mornings. We truly appreciate it. With that, we are going to go to our first break because when we come back, we are going to deep dive into the world of sports. As more sports are starting up, it's the start of college basketball season. What are we looking forward to? Who do we think is going to be an early favorite? Do we even think they make it through the season? NBA offseason has started as well. The NFL. Bunch of news going around the NFL. Will they play? Will they not? And for the games that are still expected to be on, we will do pick'ems as well as college football from yesterday and today's slate of games. We will be right back here on ktcbroadcasting.com.
You know, we always tell our kids that there's no such thing as a money tree. But did you know at Friendship Nissan in Forest City, we kind of do have a money tree? Our money tree gives a $500 better price on any new Nissan, and that's a $500 guarantee that we put in writing. We have no haggle clear choice pricing, the region's only non-commissioned sales force, and we have the only lifetime warranty with no time or mileage limits. So you see, at Friendship Nissan, we kind of do have a money tree, and we're located in Forest City.
You're invited to the big Christmas open house event at Victoria Cole Gifts and Collectibles in downtown Cherryville. It's Friday and Saturday, November 28th and 29th, 2 big days of savings. Come shop till you drop and enjoy free refreshments. Plus, Victoria Cole Gifts and Collectibles always features free gift wrapping. Pick out the perfect Christmas gift for that perfect someone at Victoria Cole Gifts and Collectibles, 112 East Main Street, downtown Cherryville. See their page at whatsupshopper.com and like them on Facebook too. Don't miss Christmas Open House, November 28th and 29th at Victoria Cole Gifts and Collectibles, downtown Cherryville.
Take advantage of a special offer on the versatile Kubota BX Series subcompact tractor. Switching attachments is simple, and a smooth hydrostatic transmission makes for easy operation. The Kubota BX Series, the #1 selling subcompact tractor in the U.S. for over 10 years. You own the land. Now, make it yours. Get the Kubota BX 2380 for payments as low as $99 a month.
Your Kubota dealer is Parker Farm Service, 126 Bessie Drive, off Highway 74 at Oak Grove Road, Kings Mountain. With a history of safe, sound, and secure banking practices, United Bank's impact can be felt in communities both big and small. Through every chapter of our story, we have stayed true to our mission of providing excellence in service to our customers, shareholders, and communities. United Bank, safe, sound, and secure since 1839. Member FDIC. For an Allstate agent, providing protection that fits your life is something that they take, well, personally. Allstate agents are committed to learning about your needs and personalizing protection to meet them. From bundling your auto, home, and life insurance with ease to evaluating optional coverage based on your protection needs, your Allstate agent can build an insurance proposal that fits your life. And you're in good hands. Contact Cherryville Allstate agent John Brown today for a free quote. Call 704-435-1920. Stay safe. Get your flu shot now at Medical Center Pharmacy in Cherryville and the Fallston Pharmacy in Fallston. Yes, flu shots are now available at both locations. Plus, you'll find a large selection of masks and Lysol wipes. Stay clean, stay safe. Come inside to use their convenient drive-through window. And yes, the grill is open at Medical Center Pharmacy in Cherryville. That's Medical Center Pharmacy, East Academy Street in Cherryville, and the Fallston Pharmacy, Highway 18 North in Fallston.
And we are back on Saturday Morning Sports Talk with Hunter and the trio, the three amigos, the however we
Three amigos,
I guess.
Three amigos, yeah.
All right, just want to
like
sneak this in. Friendship Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram sponsoring this morning. Big thank you to them. Check them out at 190 Oak Street Extension in Forest City. You call them at 828-919-3001. Get you that Grand Cherokee. Get you that. Last time I said Comanche, but I've dated myself there a little bit. The new truck, the Gladiator. Yes. I want to call the Gladiator Comanche because I'm stuck in the 1980s. But saw some of those Gladiators. Boy, you look sharp in one of those, Terry. That's what you need to drive around. It might help your social status a little bit. I mean, it would take more in a truck, but it'd be a step in the right
direction. You'll just drive down the road and say, "Look, there goes Terry Reinhardt.
There goes Terry.
There goes Terry Reinhardt."
And Friendship Nissan, if you need a Nissan Rogue, check them out at 156 Oak Street Extension in Forest City, North Carolina, 828-245-1661. I wonder if you can get a tow package with that Rogue. Thinking about getting a little camper. I guess I need to go over there and check them out. See if I can get one with a tow package over there. Terry, what do you think?
Go ahead.
I'm going to check them out.
Tell them KTC Broadcasting.
Tell them KTC Broadcasting.
Tell them KTC Broadcasting. Well, we want to extend another good morning to everybody that is still with us here after our first break. We got a ton of stuff to get to. Today, a full slate of college football. Tomorrow, a full slate of football going into not only Monday, but Tuesday of next week. There will be NFL games as well. And college basketball. You'll see games sprinkled throughout the day here and there as college basketball is kicking up and going with it. Gentlemen, which one would we like to start with? Well, there's also NBA talking, but the NBA, we still have at least about a month before it starts.
Let's go ahead and jump into college basketball.
Let's go ahead. There we go. It's new.
I guess it's
just now started.
The big game, the Kansas-Gonzaga game, or Gonzaga. Yeah. I think they got it backwards. They said Gonzaga knocks off number 1 Kansas. I'm like, no, that's not right.
No,
Gonzaga was number 1. Kansas was number 6. So I mean, 2 highly ranked teams getting it a battle early in the season. Gonzaga won maybe by maybe it was about 8 or 9.
Yeah, they won. They won pretty handily.
Yeah, and it was the first time. There was some kind of blurb on there. The first time Kansas has given up that many points in a long, long time. So Gonzaga's the real deal.
Kansas lost a point guard and a starting center to the draft, but also Kansas is under a lot of scrutiny because they are under federal investigation to see into some allegations that have come against their basketball
There's
program.
a number of schools in that federal.
There is. You're correct. But I don't know if that's hurt them recruiting-wise. Because when you're a kid and you're deciding to go and play college basketball, you don't ever want to hear the whisper of postseason ban. Because that's what you play for. When you go to these big programs, you want to make it to the round of 68. You want to play in the tournament.
I would say 20 years ago that would be correct, but I'm saying now it's not.
Well, most of the time,
these guys are the big guys are playing one.
Well, yeah,
and done.
But they want to get as much exposure as they can. Yeah. Obviously, Kansas will still be on television, but if they don't make it into the tournament time, then you're not watching them anymore. That was you were mad that year that Ben Simmons was taken number 1 overall, and he played at LSU, and they didn't do anything. It's like, well, how can you be the number 1 overall pick if you didn't win in college? It's just one of those things where you want the scouts to watch you. If he'd have went anywhere else outside of LSU, they would have had tremendous success. But you also see now, if they're big time recruits, they're actually wondering, do I just go play overseas for a year and then say I'm draft eligible? That's kind of just what it's come down to. But I personally, I think that's hurt college basketball. The one and done rule has hurt college basketball.
Well, I'm gonna give North Carolina State a lot of credit because I've watched them play Wednesday. Then I watched them play yesterday, and they've got 6 freshmen on this squad, and these guys are getting a lot of playing time right now. Don't get me wrong, you still got Thunderbird, Bates, and Braxton, Beverly, and Daniels still playing. But as far as their bench goes, when they sub, it's a freshman. And Hayes has come in. He's good. Seaborn's come in. He's pretty good. They play Gibson in the middle. They got Moore out front. They got a transfer from Nebraska named Allen. He's pretty decent. State's very deep. They're about 12 guys deep, and these guys are playing. And the Hayes kid, the kid that's going to run the point, he can shoot it. He can shoot the lights out of it.
Well, they brought a lot of kids back.
Yeah,
that's going to help.
I think you got a lot of talent there, and State's very big underneath. Just got to keep Bates out of foul trouble. But as far as the rest of the guys, it's going to be an interesting team. Yeah, can they play with Virginia? But then you want to say, okay, Virginia got beat by San Francisco yesterday.
That was big.
The 4th-ranked team got beat. So, yeah, it depends on what Virginia team shows up. Are you going to play okay? State beat Virginia last year. So, the ACC, to me, and I know a lot of people are Carolina fans, but I watched Carolina play the other night, and they struggled for a very long time.
They're young
in that game.
They're very young,
and for them to be ranked, I know it's the name. I'm sorry, you went 14-19 last year, but for them to throw you right back in there and have your name, it's your name that got you ranked again. And Roy
it's
Williams.
your name, and they do the same thing in basketball that they do in football. They look at your freshman recruiting class. Who did you bring in? And North Carolina has brought in some very good freshmen. I agree with you, though, and to me, they're just young. That's just what it is.
Well, it's a Carolina team that you're going to have to worry about your backcourt again because somebody out there is going to have to lead you, and do you have somebody? Because the other night when they were playing, that team held with them until the very end, and then Carolina went on a 17-5 run or something like that to put it away and ended up winning by 19, I think is what it was.
I agree.
But, the inside, you got Brooks, you got them guys under there. They're going to be
Brooks
able to
and
hold.
Baycott.
Yep,
they're
going to control the middle, but all that backcourt. Can that backcourt shoot some threes to keep you in games, and can they play defense? And, so don't get too pumped up on this Carolina team because they're going to be better. Yeah, they should finish above 500. Are they going to be better than what it was last year? Yes, they should. I mean, it's kind of hard to fall that low again, but will they be better? Yeah, but will they be an NCAA team? Let's go NIT first, and then we'll think about the other.
Fall that low, is Roy's seat a little bit hotter?
No,
because that would be back-to-back years with a losing season at a traditional power.
In his whole career, no. I mean, last year was the first time, and we had people hollering last year about Roy should be fired. Come on.
Well, as a Carolina fan, I've wanted Roy to be gone maybe for the past 3 or 4 years.
Well, I never wanted Roy there anyway, and that's just me from a long way back. And the reason I say that because when they first offered him the job and he was at Kansas, he turned it down. I'm not coming because the Kansas team was better, But But then when he did come to Carolina, he did not win a championship. His first one did not come with his players. It come with another player.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Doherty's players that he won his first one. More of them guys were from him. Then he won another one. Hey, it's good. The guy's a great coach. I'm not going to take nothing away from him. But, last year he fell behind. He could not get them guys to understand what Carolina basketball was about. Mm-hmm. That's where the whole problem come in. And then you had a Cole Anthony who is like Cole Anthony, and don't get me wrong, Cole Anthony is a way better player than Helms from North Carolina State. But Helms thinks me shoot first. And that's how Cole Anthony was. I mean, sometimes you get players like that and everybody sits back and watches them play instead of playing the game.
I thought it was better when he was off the court because it forced the other guys to have to play.
Yes.
I can agree with that. We're looking through here at the rankings. It's not been updated yet through who's played yet. I think they usually do updated rankings on either Mondays or Tuesdays, so the games that have been played. But Gonzaga, they're 2-0. They won yesterday. Without two of their players.
Yeah, they did.
Against Auburn, and Auburn is a good team too. I like what Bruce Pearl has done down there with Auburn, and they won very substantially. It was like 90 to 67. So does Gonzaga look like a pure one, and this could possibly be the year that they get over the hump and win the national championship? Because they can get there. We've seen that they can get there. The problem is that they just fall short at some point.
Well, the problem is it's early. You know what I mean? We got to see how the season plays out. How
less games this year.
Yeah, I mean,
but I'm glad you said that though. You got to see how the season plays out. Another question on top of that: does the season make it?
Yeah, I don't think it does. I think once you get in the middle of cold and flu season, that remember everybody who has flu-like symptoms, right? It's got to isolate. So whether you have this COVID mess or you have something else, I mean, it's just going to get really bad.
Okay, now we know what the NFL's doing. Like they'll put you on a reserve, and then the NFL tries to bump it back. I know the Pittsburgh players, and I'm just speaking of this as far as COVID.
Right.
But I know the Pittsburgh players were complaining, okay, now that they've got COVID, they're going to ban the game. We're not going to play the game. Well, you know what? Them Pittsburgh players over here saying, we're doing what we're supposed to do. What are they not doing?
Right.
The reason we're not going to get to play. But now they keep bumping that game back. But what we're going to do, let all the players get healthy before we get this game in. That's not Pittsburgh's fault. That's the NFL watching over their people. But hey, you have it where there's all bumping people in for people to play. You bring them up from the practice squad, stick them in. Will the college basketball do that? Where you look at a North Carolina State who has 12 guys that Keats is running in and out of the game. What about a team who only has 7, like a Virginia or somebody like that? Is it going to be one guy down there and, we cannot play because we got one guy down? I mean, is that what it's going to be, or how are we going to handle this?
Yeah, I'm not sure it's that simple, though. Like when you said well, Pittsburgh's following all the rules. That's why they don't get it. I'm just not convinced that.
Well, they probably not, but they're doing what it is to keep them out from being COVID related.
Yeah,
to be banned, because I think Baltimore's got 8 to 10 guys out now.
Lamar's out too.
Yeah, but once say one of your running backs has it, well then everybody in the running back room's got it. Because of the way
both of the running backs, 2 out of the 3 have got it.
Yeah.
J.K. Dobbins and Martin.
Yeah, and then the quarterback's going to be handing off the running back in practice. So now the quarterback's got it.
So Pittsburgh's going to sit back and say, that's not our problem.
Well, they're playing Tuesday.
They're supposed to play Thursday. Then it got moved to Sunday. Now it's moved to Tuesday. So we're going to let everybody get better. So
this is just 1 year, though.
The problem,
this is just 1 year.
The problem is with college basketball is the fact that it is basketball, and that's about all you do is just rub up on each other.
Oh yeah,
that's what's going to be the problem. And we talked about it for a long time when COVID first started, and they were talking about trying to get sports back and going. Football, you could probably wear long sleeves if you were really trying to protect your skin. You could wear gloves on your hands, and sometimes you're not always touching somebody unless you're offensive and defensive linemen and linebackers that are blitzing. But basketball, that's all you do, really. You run up and down the court. You're trying to maybe hand checks a little bit, not much, because we obviously know it's a foul. I know you can't do that no more, but you're trying to keep them in front of you. Yeah, and everybody that's trying to post up and bang down low they're just sweating and touching all over each other. So and it's in a smaller confined area. And I think why it works in football and probably in baseball, because baseball obviously is still so spread out, it's outside. These games are not outside in basketball. Everybody's inside in your indoor facilities, and that is one thing that they're trying to just cut down on is the amount of people that you have indoors. Outside venues, it's a little bit more lenient. But we're not playing basketball in December and January outside on no outside courts. And no, that's not happening. So I think it's going to be interesting to watch how college basketball reacts to it, or what their measures are going to be. There were talks at one point to try and get a bubble going somehow, some way for these conferences. I know that's going to be tough, but what I like to see, though, is that college basketball did not take the college football route and is playing out of conference games. I like that.
Because you have a lot more games. You can play more than once a week. You can work that in. But, with the bubble, if you look at the NBA bubble was pretty successful.
Yes, it was.
I mean, it was successful. I mean, if you, regardless of what your faith in science is, one thing is the less contact you have between people, the less this thing spreads. So, basketball is a sport where it's more feasible. See, but these kids got to go to class. So I guess you'd have to set it up to where they're going to be in a bubble and they're going to attend. I mean, you're going to take a bunch of 20-year-old kids and put them in a bubble for 4 months.
You better hope you basketball. Have great internet because you have all these Zoom calls people have to be on.
I'm just telling you.
It's going to be interesting.
It's not practical.
And what you need to watch for as well is the thing that I've been critical of, and we talked about it before we came on the show. I've been critical of how college football has handled some of these games, whereas it's straight cancellations and not reschedulements.
Well, they won't push back the playoff.
Well, I know they won't. They have a hard cutoff date of December 20th. They're like, we have to be done by then.
The ACC has one day that they've got in there that anybody can play, but they don't want to touch that unless they have to.
Right. And so what I'm interested in is seeing how college basketball reacts to it. If you do have to postpone a game, are you just going to cancel it as a whole, or are you going to try and fit it in? Because basketball, we see it in the NBA. They play 3 or 4 times a week sometimes.
It's a lot easier to do it in basketball.
So are you going to maybe just schedule it in the following week at some time in between games? Are you going to try and maybe fit it in at the end? Because that's something that we watch, because basketball is going to run all the way till January, February, just to prepare people for March. So there will be a lot of time for you not to just straight cancel these games, but for you to be able to reschedule and then get all the games played, because that's one thing that I've really struggled with when I watch these college football games, and obviously we can't help that you have a December 20th cutoff, but just the cancellations, and we're not even going to try to reschedule.
Well, they could take care of that. The committee can get together and say we're not going to meet till January 1st, and don't give these teams 2 weeks before the national championship game.
They could.
You could do something.
They could, but do they want to do that? No.
It doesn't matter whether they want. They have to adjust to the times. That's what I would say.
And
look,
see, we would say that.
Yeah, adjust to the times.
But do they want to adjust to the times?
There's so much money in this stuff. That's all it comes down to. Who's going to lose money if we move things around?
Yeah.
See, but it would be a bigger deal if there was actually going to be like 100,000 fans at the national championship game, which there won't this year.
Yeah, that's true.
So if you don't have to worry about all the the fans and the hotels and all this stuff and people jumping up and down, what I say is just you probably have about a month to play with. Now, if you start getting into February or March for your national football champion, I think some of the guys are going to opt out. The Bateman kid at Minnesota, once he saw his team, he opted out. But I think some other schools, if you say, okay, well, we're going to push this thing back to the middle of February, some kids might say, well, I'm not going to play because I'm going to be in the draft and I can't.
They're going to get ready for the combine.
They're going to get ready for the combine and things. So I do think they should give themselves a little flexibility, but I'm also aware that if you give them too much flexibility, some of these kids just aren't going to play. I mean, like I said, I brought up the Bateman kid. Just doesn't look like this is going anywhere, Coach.
Well, with that being said, and we're looking at the college basketball slate, is it not surprising that we haven't seen more college basketball kids, since it is the one and done? You don't have to stay if you don't want to opt out. and decide to go play maybe overseas or just prepare themselves.
That might actually happen in the middle of the season.
That's what I'm thinking. If you got a kid that's a freshman, one of these freshman phenoms that is in, and there's murmurs that the season might just be canceled or there might not be a March Madness postseason, what do you're questioning, like, well, what are we playing for? Just to be able to say we won our conference? Yeah. Because every kid gets to college basketball, and if they have any chance, they're like, we want to play in March. We want to play in the tournament, whether we go and win the thing or not.
Okay, so you go across the season. I mean, the NBA will be looking at that, but as far as fans from here, we're not watching that.
Well, mostly because it's not that's why it's not televised here.
You know, I mean, that's just like the baseball that they had, and I know the Bears played the Dinos for the championship over there, and I did turn that on and watch that.
I watched it in the morning. It was all first thing.
Last time I saw it was 2-2.
They were
I don't know
early.
Yeah, I don't know who won it, but
the Dinos won the championship.
Hey, how about that? That's great.
NC.
That's right.
NC
North Carolina
Dinos.
North Carolina. Yeah.
Well, it's just it just really is sad to see this, but you know the times are dictating the policy.
But would you go play overseas?
Me?
Yeah. Would you?
They probably wouldn't even let you go. Right now, they're not even letting anybody go.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, for basketball wise, I mean, you're going to get paid.
Yeah, but I don't think they're going to even let anybody go. I don't know what they're doing in Europe. Are they even playing? Have they shut down their leagues?
That's what I'm saying. I do not know.
Because Europe, it's kind of funny, you know, because Europe banned travel from the United States because our numbers were so bad. But look at their numbers. Their numbers are horrible in Spain and Italy and all that. So
they're just so competitive.
France,
everybody's just so on top of each other in Europe. But when I'm looking at the college basketball rankings, we got 4 teams from the ACC in the top 25.
Nah.
Do any of them go on to try and challenge for the national championship?
I don't think Virginia can. I don't think their depth is going to be able to. And here we are again. We talk about Virginia, and right off the bat, they get beat by San Francisco.
Right.
You know, if you're going to be an elite team, these are games you got to win. And, hey, they fought her again just like they did in the NCAA tournament, but they did win a national title the very next year. So, you know, they're capable. But I don't think they can.
After they almost got beat by Gardner-Webb in the first
round.
That's
what I'm saying. Who else do we have ranked? I mean, besides Virginia?
Carolina.
Virginia, Carolina, Duke, and Florida State.
I have a hard time with Carolina being ranked. And I guess I'm not a Tar Heel fan, and I guess that's what makes me a little bit more hated as far as I'm not a Carolina fan, because you was 14-19. What did you get that you lost Cole Anthony and all them guys, but what did you get back that makes you rank now? Nothing. Not one thing did you get back. You have no guard play now, and now all of a sudden they're going to put your name back in there because you – see, I have a hard time with that. That's the reason I do not like that polls, because they're no good, and that's just like college football when they jumped them all the way to number 5. Well, you know what? Carolina fell flat on their face when they lost to Florida State. Then they turned around and lost to Virginia.
That was because nobody was playing.
I mean, the only time that I didn't beat, like, you know, I always say, well, they've struggled with Duke. Well, you know what? Carolina's never beat the Fighting Irish, hardly. So, I mean, so that's all, it just all fell in place.
We'll get to that in a minute.
We will.
Tom, 7 Big Ten teams are in the top 25.
Yeah,
do any of them have an opportunity of running for a national championship?
Well, it's just like I wouldn't want to go out there and say, yeah, like in Illinois, who's got a strong team this year. Okay, Ohio State's got a pretty good team this year, but until this thing plays out a little bit.
Right. I know it's all premature. We don't know because really in the back of our minds, we don't even know if the season is going to last.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I think that's what's going to be the problem is we have to I think I am hopeful and I'm pretty positive it is going to last unless something chaotic happens and like because of one game multiple teams got it just because they play so often. Other than that though, I couldn't tell you who I thought was going to win because I feel like with this one and done era, the problem is we don't know who is where half the time because they're gone right after they play one season. That's the problem. That's why college basketball has lost a lot of fans is because it isn't the time anymore where you know you were going to tune in and see maybe Michael Jordan or Patrick Ewing or these guys that stayed. Charles Barkley at Auburn, they stayed and they played.
Yeah.
Now it's, well, you got it. If you don't tune in, you'll never see him again in college basketball because he's just going to be here for a moment.
I think the NBA did something good last year by having some of the guys be able to come to some of their workouts and see how the NBA, because that's one reason DJ Thunderbird come back to North Carolina State. He felt like, I'm not ready.
They were able to go, I believe, as long as they didn't request an agent.
Yep.
At least go to NBA Combine, listen and hear if they had opportunity, and if they didn't, they were able to come back, which is smart.
Those guys there were telling them you're not ready,
right?
And
which is smart, and I'm glad that the NBA has done that. But at the same time, if you look at college basketball, most of the teams that have won the national championship for the past few years, they've been veteran teams. They're the ones that have been sticking together like glue. Even Duke, who had 3 lottery picks, really.
Yeah.
They didn't make – they got close. But it didn't get them there because they were beaten by a Michigan State team who was veteran-led. So, to me, anybody out there right now that's maybe trying to do an early betting odds on who's going to win a national championship, you look and see maybe out of the top 25 teams, I'll say mostly the top 10 teams because usually it's only a 1 through a 4 seed that makes it to at least the Final Four. Whoever's got the most seniors starting and returning, or at least juniors, that would be your bet.
Yeah, and if you're really smart, you're going to go with Gonzaga because that guy does keep his players.
He does. He keeps them. He keeps them. Not many people come in and see. That was the knock I had on one time on Roy because I wanted Roy to recruit and bring in John Wall, but John Wall said he did want to play for Chapel Hill, but Roy Williams did not want a one and done, and so I respected Roy for a long time because he wanted to. At least keep the guys there. Duke used to be very good at that as well until they got whiff of what Calipari was doing at Kentucky and said, we have to do the one and done.
We have to do what they're doing
we have
to compete.
To compete, absolutely.
Now, we haven't really talked about Baylor, but they haven't been able to play. I think they've had 2 games and they both got canceled.
Florida State just had a game that was postponed too against Gardner Webb.
Everybody, everybody. Well, who cares about that? But
well, it's just I'm just saying, Tom, that we're getting ready to probably see a lot of either postponements or cancellations. Like I know it still says this Gardner Webb Florida State team is postponed, but I like how Tom kind of just put it. Would you not just cancel it?
Yeah.
Do you have to try and get that game in?
I don't think they'll make it.
I don't think they will. Another one like Detroit Mercy and Kentucky they canceled that. I'm glad they weren't like we're still going to try and get that game in.
But at least you're going to see like when you mentioned earlier a lot of the inter-conference matchups because they're playing non-conference that you'll get a better measurement. Like I'm sure a lot of people out there are saying that 7 teams, the last 3 teams in the top 25, Ohio State, Rutgers, Michigan, are all Big Ten teams.
Mm-hmm.
So right now they're going to claim to be the best conference top to bottom in basketball, but it's really hard to measure that.
Well, we're about 2 weeks. We're about 2-3 weeks out from the ACC Big Ten championship. The top 10 as of this is preseason because, like I said, it's not been updated.
I've got the it hasn't been updated at all.
No, huh?
Okay, then you probably have the same list I do. This one's got their records.
Does it?
Yeah. Gonzaga 2-0, number 1. Baylor hasn't played. They're number 2. Villanova's 2-0, number 3. Virginia's 1-1, number 4. That's going to change.
That's going to change.
Iowa's 2-0. They're number 5. Kansas 1-1. They're 6, but their loss is to Gonzaga.
Mm-hmm.
Wisconsin's 2-0. They're 7. Illinois 3-0. They're 8. Duke hasn't played. They're 9th. Kentucky's 1-0.
Yeah, we had the same list. Just they haven't put the win losses up there. So that's the exact same. Here, only difference that's AP. Only difference in coaches is I'm looking and there's a flip flop with Kansas and Iowa. They actually have Illinois at 10th. This is what the coaches think instead of being 8th, and they have Duke at 8. But for the 1 and 2 spot, it's still Gonzaga, Baylor, AP, Baylor, Gonzaga, and the coaches. So I guess Baylor's a powerhouse. But like you said, the problem is we don't know. Because we haven't been able to see him play. And I know it's only been 2 or 3 games so far out of probably, a 20-plus game season that they're getting ready to have, however many they've decided they're going to play this year. Another thing that was brought up and tossed around, I think, this week was, might have been the prior week, I don't know if you guys had heard, the bubble for the college basketball March Madness. They wanted to keep it all in one centralized location in Indianapolis.
Well, that makes more sense because you can get by with it for a couple of weeks.
It does. The problem is, though, are you going to have 68 basketball teams in Indianapolis playing on one court?
That's what I'm saying. And how do you keep them isolated?
You would have to go in the early rounds. You'd have to do.
Now, if you ask me, I'm like, you know what? Just like how they do for the Super Bowl, I think it's great for the city of Indianapolis. You get all these fans coming in, however many you're going to allow at these games. But even still, I think economically it helps all your small businesses because people can come and eat at your restaurants. Yeah. But
not if they're closed.
Well, yeah, not if they're closed. But logistically, 68 teams. Trying to keep them spread out.
No,
they're gonna have the games obviously for the national championship at Lucas Oil.
Just do
but
it.
Are you gonna
do a regional bubble? Just if you're gonna do it in Indianapolis, then put a couple.
Well, me and Kevin had an idea, and I'll throw it off of you. First round games are at home.
You still got to travel though.
You do, but then
somebody's still got to travel.
But then you can have your regional areas. Just the first round game is at home.
Or you
for the higher seed.
Or you could do. I'd say, could you not put like regional bubbles, like put them close by, and just
games in Charlotte, games in Cincinnati,
but
in.
But even if you want to do it closer to Indianapolis, to where they wouldn't have to travel too far. I mean, there's a lot to work out. With 68 teams, it's a lot to work out.
It's different than the 20-something that they took to Miami.
Or how about this? How about just all right? We're going old school. It's just conference champions playing for the national championship. That would solve your 68 team problem right there, just for 1 year. Just say, unless you're a conference champion, you don't get to play for.
If you was a Duke or Carolina fan, you would say, no way.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, that would be simple.
But it's a 1 year thing.
And then think about it. If that would happen, if Virginia wins the conference, then everybody's saying no way.
How about just say,
or Florida State?
People, this is for 1 year. This is a pandemic. It hasn't happened since.
You got to win it.
Hasn't happened in 100 years.
Got to win it to get in it.
Yeah, think of that.
Got to win it to get in it.
It used to be like that.
We won't have to deal with it for another 100 years. Hopefully, they say these vaccines are 95% effective, Terry. Let's roll them out. Get everybody vaccinated. We're good for
every
next
year. AD at every college would turn that down.
Yeah, they would because they're worried about money.
Yeah.
I mean, they're worried about money, but what I would tell them is, okay, this is 1 year, guys. This is 1 year.
And they would still say no.
You're probably right.
All right. And with that, it's going to wrap up the college basketball talk. We're getting ready to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to stay in the college realm, but we're going to talk about college football here on KTC Broadcasting.
Wouldn't it be nice if you could go look at a new car or truck and you didn't have to worry about getting caught up in those games that waste half your day? Well, Friendship Nissan and Friendship Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram in Forest City is different because we're fast, easy, and transparent. We have over 300 new and used vehicles on the ground with clear choice pricing and the region's only non-commissioned sales force, and a free lifetime warranty on every new car. You better believe Friendship Nissan and Friendship Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram is different, and you can find us in Forest City.
We're ready to hit the road for the holidays. Are you? With Red Roof Ready Clean, we promise to provide you a clean and safe stay along the way. Plus, a portion of your Red Roof stay is going to charities that benefit military members, children, and students. You'll get 15% off. We'll donate a portion of your stay to the Thurgood Marshall College Fund, Flying Horse Farms, and the Freedom Alliance. Now's the time for a holiday stay at Red Roof, a safe place to stay on the holiday road. Go to redroof.com for all the holiday offers.
Join us every Sunday at 11 a.m. for our Sunday morning worship services. On WCSL 1590 AM and 92.3 FM, it's the Sunday morning service of First Baptist Church in Cherryville. On WLON 1050 AM and 107.5 FM, it's the Sunday service of the Covenant Bible Church in Lincolnton. And on WOHS 1390 AM and 101.5 FM, it's the Sunday service of the Calvary Baptist Church of Shelby. Join us each and every Sunday morning for our Sunday morning worship services on The Boss and Carolina Country.
Carolina Federal Credit Union in Cherryville wants to remind you that holiday shopping is right around the corner. And now you can get a fixed-rate Visa credit card with 1% cash back and rewards from Carolina Federal Credit Union, with rates as low as 10.90% APR. And you can apply online at carolinafcu.org/Visa or drop by their office at 1200 East Church Street in Cherryville. Make holiday shopping easy with your new fixed-rate Visa card with 1% cash back from Carolina Federal Credit Union in Cherryville. Get ready for Christmas with the Kawasaki Adventure Sales Event going on now at MS Power Sports in Gastonia. You'll find great deals on popular bikes and side-by-sides. And check out the line of helmets, t-shirts, boots, and more. And ask about special financing, including 1.99% APR for 36 months from Suzuki, or up to $1,000 back in customer cash at MS Power Sports, 4804 Wilkinson Boulevard in Gastonia. Online at mscycles.com, and they are COVID-19 compliant. Santa is hitching up a new sleigh at the new Iconic Motor Company in Shelby, where prices are falling. At the new Iconic Motor Company, you get high-quality pre-owned vehicles to fit every budget. Good credit, no credit, bad credit, no problem. Iconic Motor Company in Shelby can help. Check out their inventory at iconicmotorcompanyofshelby.com. But come take a test drive today for yourself at the all-new Iconic Motor Company of Shelby, 325 West Dixon Boulevard in Shelby, right across from Kimbrell's.
And we're back on Saturday Morning Sports Talk with Hunter and the trio.
You are sponsor.
There we go.
Friendship Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, 190 Oak Street Extension in Forest City. Call them at 828-919-3001. Excuse me.
Oh, gosh.
And also, a little coffee went down the wrong pipe.
Oh, there you go.
Friendship Nissan, 156 Oak Street Extension in Forest City. Call them at 828-245-1661.
That's right, and he'll take care of you up there.
And those are our friends
Yes.
at Friendship. We want to thank them again as well. And also another thank you to Mitchum's Kitchen for feeding us this morning. College football. We had a few games yesterday.
It was a great game yesterday.
Which one are you talking about?
Well, there's one on that I watched. I was very impressed with.
Notre Dame, Carolina. Kept the game.
Leaving themselves in the national title hopes.
I know that you were I didn't know that you were mistakenly talking about the Iowa State-Texas game.
Yep.
I enjoyed watching that game because it's always fun to see Texas lose.
Oh, yeah. I thought Tom Herman would go down there and do well, but no, I'll tell you what, you talk about hot seats, he's going to be on the hot seat.
And see, that's what I wanted to get into is we'll talk about Carolina and Notre Dame in a minute. I'll just tell the scores, though, from yesterday as well. Southern Mississippi and UAB were supposed to play. That was canceled. San Diego State and Fresno State was supposed to play. That was canceled as well. That's big because Fresno State is doing very well this year in football. But we'll just go through the scores yesterday. Of course, the big game of the day was Notre Dame and North Carolina, 31-17 Notre Dame over North Carolina. Iowa State 23-20 over Texas at Texas. Oregon at Oregon State. Oregon wins 41-30. Oregon State wins, 41-38.
I was going to say Oregon State come back at the end and beat them.
Oregon State beat Oregon
Yes.
Oh,
sure did.
Nebraska and Iowa. Iowa 26-20 over Nebraska, leaving Nebraska still with only one win on the season. Liberty comes off that 1 point loss to NC State with a vengeance over poor UMass. They hung 45 on them. This was 45-0. Liberty with the win. Central Florida and Southern Florida. This was a barn burner. Everybody was scoring 58-46 Central Florida. Wyoming 45, UNLV 14, Central Michigan 31, Eastern Michigan 23, and Stanford 24, Cal 23, a 1-point game. That was really close. So let's go to really to the bigger games. Iowa State and Texas. The question has been since Tom Herman took over and Texas started to show light while they've had Sam Ehlinger under quarterback for them is Texas back? And they're not. They're just not.
Not the way they were.
They're not. No. They're not as bad as they were, but they're not to what they usually are. The 10 to 11 win team that's usually trying to fight
Oklahoma,
what would be now for a college football playoff spot.
The biggest game of the year in that conference was Oklahoma, Texas, but it's not really anymore.
No, I don't know.
That Oklahoma State game last week was big, and look at Iowa State. First time they've ever beaten Oklahoma and Texas in the same year this year. Yeah. So you can't write them off.
And they're getting ready to try and play for a Big 12 championship when that comes up. As long as nothing derails them, they're on a fast track for the Big 12 championship.
Didn't Oklahoma destroy Oklahoma State?
Yeah, they played them very
They
hard.
scored. They jumped on them. They had like 20. And plus, Oklahoma State was playing with their backup quarterback, I believe, Terry.
The problem is
that hurts.
Yeah.
The problem is if you're the Big 12, you have no unbeaten.
No.
And you have no one loss. Yeah. All of your
You're
teams.
totally out.
You're
That's
out
the
of
reason the Fighting Irish made themselves a legit favorite by beating Carolina yesterday.
Because now I think Notre Dame.
Good jab, Terry. Good jab.
No, it's nothing like that. I'm just saying, with their victory, that just means Clemson. Hey, you looking at them down the road, and the ACC's in good hands now with two teams. And I know me and Tom do not like the Fighting Irish being in there because you jumped in it for 1 year, you can have a chance to win it, and But the only way Clemson can be eliminated is if the Fighting Irish beat them again.
And they're not.
They're
not. I think if Clemson's completely healthy, they'll beat down the Irish. I just, they had to score a ton of points to beat them, and there were some defensive guys out for Clemson too, not just Trevor Lawrence. So I don't think Notre Dame's on the same level as a fully healthy Clemson right now. But if Notre Dame, even if they get beat by Clemson, I think they just swap. Clemson goes to number 2, and Notre Dame's the number 4, and there's going to be another one. I think Notre Dame, they've got one more semi-tough game at Wake Forest, which could be a trap game, but I don't think Wake Forest has enough to beat them.
Can I throw something out there to y'all?
Yeah.
And that's like Dabo come up this past week when all of a sudden they do make the trip down to Florida State. Then all of a sudden Florida State says, look, we're not going to be able to play. Dabo got kind of mad.
Listen, I'm going to say this. I think Dabo made himself look like a real jackwagon this week. I'm not going to lie.
I agree.
I think he really did.
When does he not? And when does he not? Plus, that's why people like him. They like him because he says stuff like that.
And see, there was controversy this whole week. Whose side do you take? Do you take Dabo's or do you take Florida State's? I'm fully on Florida State's side. Because if you are Clemson, how can you be that – I'm just going to say it. How can you be that stupid to put a positive tested player on with your team to travel? And you just thought Florida State was going to be like, yeah, okay, you can bring a kid that tested positive. They probably would have been fine if he would have stayed at home, but Dabo let him travel with the team.
I think this stuff doesn't hit home until it affects somebody in your family.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. You really understand how bad it is if it affects somebody in your family.
And so, and for Dabo to come out and say they're ducking us, what do you mean? Wasn't the game just postponed? Aren't they going to try and reschedule it? Was it just straight up canceled?
Here's another reason why I don't like what he did, although a lot of people do, is he sets an example. The entire upstate South Carolina looks up to this guy.
Yeah.
He's a god. Right. And upstate South Carolina, he's a god. So if he says something like that, what kind of message does that send to everybody else? That this thing isn't serious.
Oh, well, if you're a Clemson fan, you are 110% backing Dabo.
Whatever he says is the gospel.
Yeah, you're saying, oh, well, they ducked us. It's like, no, he put his team, really, if you look at it that way, he put his team at risk by allowing a COVID-positive player to travel with the team. Not only that, if you put your own players at risk, you were also putting the Florida State players at risk. So the head coach of Florida State, he made the right call. And I'm behind him 100%.
I just think that's the reason why I think there needs to be more flexibility. That this game, really, the Florida State players should have the opportunity to play Clemson. You know what I mean? You want a chance to play the best.
You do want a chance to play the best, but if you're Clemson, why is this a big deal? You're just like,
because this is what Dabo does. Watch him during a game.
It's not going to hurt you because you didn't play this game because everybody said you're just probably going to win it anyway.
But watch.
Exactly. That's my point.
Watch Dabo during the game. I mean, when his team's in, he's on the freaking 10-yard line on the field while the snap. I mean, he just does whatever he wants, and that's the way it's going to be, But I just wish that he and a lot of other people would show a little bit more leadership because I'm the last one, shut down, no way, no way, don't do that again because there's people got to eat.
Oh yeah,
but there's precautions that need to be taken that I think if the leadership would say, okay, we can still do our thing. There's certain precautions we need to take so we can still do our thing. And I wish, Sweeney and some of the others would do that, but they're not. They're basically downplaying everything. And like I said, when it affects your family, you'll have a different perspective on it. I can guarantee you that. But it is unfortunate what he said. I'm not going to take anything away from him. He's a great coach. He's done a great job. He's built a great program down there.
I'm not calling him a great coach. He came from special teams. He's a great recruiter.
But he's doing something right. he's doing something right, or he wouldn't be.
He's
in
got
charge
the
of that
right
program.
people in the right
He
spot.
might not be. He might not be the X's and O's guy.
The best
but
coach, the best coach on that on his staff is not himself. It's Vinovich. It's his defensive coordinator.
Well, okay, I'm with that. He's got the right people in the right spots
I
that
can
make
agree with
him
that.
look good.
I can agree with that.
I mean,
but you got to have like your front man that, like you say, that gets him to come. But you're not going to get that far if you don't know anything about football. I mean, he does. But I just wish that some of these guys who, everybody looks up to you. Everybody down there in Greenville and Easley and Spartanburg and that part of South Carolina, pretty much, the whole state looks up to this guy. So, take the responsibility.
So what is going to happen in the coming weeks? Because I tell you what I think is going to happen. I think all hell's going to break loose when it comes to if Cincinnati and BYU stay unblemished and the college football committee, say in the ACC championship, Clemson does beat Notre Dame. You've got Cincinnati sitting there right on the cusp. But in front of them, as of right now, from the college football playoff committee, there are like 2 or 3 one-loss teams sitting right in front of them.
Cincinnati's got a good team.
They've got a good team. And here's the thing,
BYU's not going to get a chance.
They're not. I know they won't because they'll look at the schedule. Cincinnati's played a tougher schedule than BYU has. But what I'm trying to say is you're going to have at this point, so say it does just flip-flop. Clemson goes to 2. Notre Dame goes to 4. You still got 2 ACC schools in there, both with 1 loss. And a undefeated Cincinnati. And the reason why I bring that up is because I've been saying this for weeks. These teams that are going undefeated are getting shafted if they're not in a Power 5 conference. And it's only because for years in the bowl series, when you would just play one national championship, one game for the national championship, and it was just the 2 best teams you thought were in the country. That was it. No question about it. You had to be undefeated. That was about the only chance you had to get into that game, was you had to go undefeated. And they always told the little guy, you just got to win. You go undefeated, we'll start giving you credit. Well, if Cincinnati's going to top out at 6, maybe 5, and they're undefeated, then what's the point?
What I would say is you're going to keep running into this, not just this year. So why not eliminate this? Is what I thought of. Eliminate one of those games at the beginning of the year. Alabama, quit playing Western Carolina. Eliminate one of those games, and then expand it to where you have an extra playoff game. And then everybody else, instead of playing one bowl game at the end of the year, you can play an extra non-conference in a bowl game.
To me, I would be fine.
Would that not just do it at the end?
That would make sense. I would be fine because, a lot of people are saying, well, how many is too many when you expand? I'll be honest, the college football playoff, they do it right now, and it's kind of shrewd how they do it because it's kind of taking jabs. But when they show you the Final Four, they always start with the 2 that are just on the edge. They show you 6 and 5, and then they go 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, why not have 6 in the playoffs and give the 1 and 2 first-round buys?
Do you know what they're going to end up telling you at the end with Cincinnati still being unbeaten? If Clemson comes up and beats the Fighting Irish, they're going to say, all right, who beat who? Both of those teams are ranked ahead of Cincinnati. Both of those teams were ranked ahead of Cincinnati, but when they played the last time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not going to change. They're going to say, well, okay, well, these 2 teams were better than them anyway through our view.
Well, I know.
Whether
it's
it
all
is or
selective.
not.
They could just use Kevin's poll and Cincinnati's number 11.
Well, there you go.
They just fax that to the committee, and they'll have to argue anymore.
But and see, people
is that this week's poll?
People poke fun. I think this is this week's because Buffalo slid in at 15, and people can poke fun at this. But this is at least kind of fair to all conferences, where you're going to have all the Power Fives are going to say, "Well, we should have somebody in there." Because think about it. You know who else is going to be mad? It's going to be the Big 12, even though they have 2 losses, and the Pac-12 if they have like maybe a 6-0, 7-0 USC team.
You're getting what you want though. Oregon is gone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now
they lost to Oregon State team and only won 1 game.
Yeah, this will be updated this week.
Yeah. So Cincinnati's either got to move up,
right?
Well,
how we did this. For those of you that are wondering, we're talking about our little sheet. I'm not going to mess with that.
No, this is not. No. This is not our little sheet. This is Kevin's sheet.
Well,
and Hunter's.
I agree with this sheet.
They're not mine.
Yeah.
I agree with the sheet. Tom, you can agree with it again.
You put Northwestern at number 3. Okay. All right.
Tom, as of right now, they're first in the Big Ten.
You agree with Northwestern being number 3.
This is just off of rankings.
Has Ohio State made that poll? Yeah, they are in that poll. Tom. They went from not being in it all the way to number 7.
Listen.
Stupid.
Look.
Both stupid.
Conference win as of right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are all the winners. Well, not Oregon this week, but they're all the ones that are sitting in first place in their respective conference. 6 through 10 are the ones that are sitting in second in a Power 5 conference. That's why Clemson is sixth, because they're second right now to Notre Dame in the ACC. And then you have to get to 15, then you have your 5 non-power conference winners.
So who are your non-power 5 conference winners?
Coastal Carolina now.
I agree. They should be there.
Marshall
should be there.
As of right now, the Buffalo Bulls are leading that. Whichever conference that is.
He doesn't even know the conference, and he puts them in the poll.
I can't remember which one they're in.
How can you put a team in there? You don't even know what conference they play in, but somehow they're in the poll.
What conference do they play in?
I don't know.
Exactly.
But they wouldn't be in my poll.
Exactly. This is just fairness for Power 5. This is just fairness for everybody.
I think it's the American Football Conference.
No,
I'm going to look it up.
Because Cincinnati is winning the American Football Conference.
I'll have to look it up.
Cincinnati and then Nevada. Because Nevada is winning the Mountain West right now.
You made my point for me, Hunter.
I did not make your point for you. The problem is, really what makes this so good is because everybody gets an opportunity. Regardless, if it's a blowout in the first round, BYU has been, they did what you asked them to do. 16 we reserved for the best independent.
Yeah. Buffalo is in the MAC East.
Okay, so it's in the MAC.
They're in the MAC East.
All right, if BYU, even in your poll, is number 16, and they're unbeaten.
Yeah.
So how come them teams in front of them have lost, like Buffalo,
hold on.
ranked ahead of them?
Terry, let me tell you some other little tidbits about the MAC now that we're going to talk about it. Kent State, the Fighting Trent Martys, are actually 3-0 and above Buffalo in the MAC East, and Western Michigan in the MAC West is also 3-0. So you tell me, how does Buffalo make it into the top in number 15 when you've got Kent State, the Fighting Trent Martys? How could you keep the Fighting Trent Martys out of here?
You can take all this up with
crazy.
Kevin, because I don't put this list together.
Wait a minute. He just said it was his and Kevin's, and then I said it's
Kevin puts this together. Okay. I just agree with the format. I don't care about the teams. I agree on the format.
Okay.
I agree with the 5 conference winners from your Power 5 and from your Group of 5 making it.
Okay,
but you know good and well. Okay, I can explain to you why I'm fine with the best independent being at 16.
Okay, that's the reason I'm asking. Because they are unbeaten.
I'll put it this way: join a damn conference.
Yeah, that's true.
That's how I feel about it. Join a conference. The one thing that we've held against BYU, you're undefeated, yes, but you ain't played nobody, and it does look like you just ducked Washington bad. Because they offered to play you, and you said no. You wanted to wait till the college football rankings came out. Well, guess what, buddy? They disrespected you, so I would pick the phone up and say, is that game still available? Washington, but if I'm not mistaken, I think they scheduled somebody for that. But that's why, for me, this BYU being at 16 is fine for me. So what? I'm sorry you got to play Alabama. Not my fault. If this was a normal year, Notre Dame would be in that spot. Because they would be. Because
you have a reason why you did that.
Yes,
I like that.
And see,
if I'm going to ask you, I want you to have a reason.
We have, and that's what I like though about this format is we have qualifiers to get you in here, not a committee that says
not an eye test.
Yeah, not an eye test, not a committee that says, well, Cincinnati is undefeated and they're blowing teams out that they play.
They are.
But
they had a tough one last week.
Well, yeah.
They played Central Florida.
Yeah,
that's an offensive team, but it's like. But, eye test, I think the one lost Florida Gators and the one lost Texas A&M, they're just so much better.
How about this?
Why? How?
I could go with this. Let's use Kevin's format, but let's let Hunter pick the teams. Because what Kevin obviously does is he just trolls everybody. Ohio State at number 7. He's just trolling me, okay?
Well, I agree with that right now because Northwestern is 5-0 and Ohio State is 3-0.
You're going to tell me, don't tell me the Fighting Chickens wouldn't beat Buffalo. They would.
Coastal Carolina?
They would beat Buffalo.
Yeah.
I think they would beat Buffalo.
I think Coastal Carolina
Nevada.
would beat Nevada. I think they would beat Buffalo. They would put a good fight with Marshall.
I think
the matchup that we have them against Oklahoma, it just depends on which Oklahoma team shows up. It would be the same thing with Iowa State because people forget Iowa State
Is
lost their
Oklahoma leading their division?
No, probably until we got to remember this was from last week.
Yeah.
So this has not been updated.
Updated since yesterday's game.
Yeah, it's not been updated since yesterday. So Iowa State, as of right now, is leading the Big 12 because they have one extra win. If Oklahoma wins this weekend, I think they'll be tied. And I don't know if they have a head-to-head over Iowa State. I would have to look at that. But regardless, format-wise, Coastal Carolina
Oklahoma's lost how many? 2?
Your leaders.
They've lost
your leaders in the Big 12 have lost 2. Iowa State and Oklahoma.
Yeah, that's right.
lost
Kansas
early.
State beat them.
Yeah.
Yes, there is no
Who else
team.
beat them? Kansas State beat them.
That's what I'm saying. They was not good at the start of the year. They was like a 1 and 2 or something like that to start the year.
And let me see. Do they even play today? Oklahoma. I think they do. I can tell you who they played and whether or not.
I got it.
Actually, no. The Oklahoma game has been postponed. They were going to play West Virginia.
Yeah, that's right. You're right.
I'll just go ahead and read off the cancellations and postponements.
Yeah,
Ohio
Oklahoma's
State
lost 2 conference games.
Yeah, Ohio State and Illinois has been canceled. Unfortunately for Cincinnati, this doesn't help. But the game at Temple has been canceled. Oklahoma and West Virginia is postponed. Minnesota at Wisconsin is canceled. Once again, Wisconsin canceling another football game. They're out of consideration for me for the rest of the year. Tulsa at Houston has been postponed. Louisiana Tech FI has been canceled, and Florida Atlantic Middle Tennessee.
Yeah, that's right, because
has been postponed.
Iowa State for the first time beat Oklahoma and Texas in the same year, and then Kansas State. And Kansas State got hammered last week by was it Iowa State that beat them last week?
I'm not sure.
So
because they got hammered.
So
45-0.
regardless of who is on this list, don't look at teams. This format works because we have qualifiers that you have to meet. It's one of those things where, college basketball at least kind of does it. They're going to take conference champions, at least from the mid-majors. You got to win your conference and you're in. From the Power 5 conferences, they still take the conference champion, but then that's
your tournament.
Yeah, you win your tournament and you're in.
Yeah.
And see that, how can you fault somebody for going out there and doing what you ask them to do is in winning because, if it wasn't Marshall, we could be sitting here and saying this is App State. An opportunity in a college football playoff.
Yeah, you see, but by your, like it was Kansas State. Iowa State beat them 45-0. That's what I was thinking. But Kansas State beat Oklahoma. See, but once you throw out the eye test, the eye test might say, well, you got beat by a team that beat a team that beat you 45-0. You see what I mean? Like you're starting to add up more things of why this team is kind of separated.
And see, it comes down to I said something this week. Because we started talking about how they're getting ready to try and do the realignment in high school football or just high school classification. And how there's a whole algorithm for how they're figuring it out. And they're going basis off averages throughout the past certain years. And it's legit an algorithm for how they're trying to figure it out. And to me, I said this. I said, you have dumb people making important decisions. That's just what it is. Because they're overcomplicating things. Just like how Tom said. You're doing the eye test. Well, they beat them, but this team came back and beat them, and you're overcomplicating it. Take your conference champions, and even if you do Power 5 and your Group of 5, that's still 10. That's still 10. You could give the top 2 seeds buys, or just to make everybody happy because, all the Power 5 conferences will say, well, our second-place team is better than those Group of 5s.
Okay.
We'll give you everybody. We'll let you put 2 in.
Okay, well, this is another reason why Kevin's poll is poo-poo. You know how he left Ohio State off last week because, okay, why is an Oklahoma team with 2 losses ahead of an Iowa State team with 1 loss? Because he's got Iowa State at number 9. Iowa State is 7-1. In the conference. Oklahoma is 6-2 because I forgot about the loss to Kansas State, and Iowa State has beaten Oklahoma. So tell me, Mr. Hastings,
Iowa is 7-2. Iowa State is 7-2. They lost to University of Louisiana,
but still, they're okay. By that measure, they're still a half a game ahead of Oklahoma, and
right now,
and they beat Oklahoma.
Tom, you forget this was last week.
Yeah,
they're just 7-2 as of yesterday.
So they were 6-2.
They were 6-2. They were tied.
Okay, so even if they're 6-2, why is it still why is it still like that when
Ask the Big 12 how they do their rankings. We just go off of who's sitting at first and second. We don't just pick them.
But you see what I'm saying, Terry?
This is legit.
How do you have Iowa by any measure of the imagination when they beat them head to head and they've got identical record? How is Oklahoma ahead of Iowa State? But yet Ohio State is somehow behind Northwestern. Now, I love the Fighting Fitzgeralds. I really do. I mean, I think he's a great coach. I think he does a great job of that program, but I don't think they're number 3 in the country.
And if people don't understand, it would be like us sitting here and saying North Carolina's better than North Carolina State, because you know what? People are going to look at head-to-head. Even though both teams have the same record, State has lost to 3 ranked teams. Carolina has not. Carolina has lost to 1.
Carolina waxed y'all.
So here we go, head-to-head. That's what I'm saying. It's an eye contact.
I get it.
Eye test.
I get it.
See what I'm saying?
But do you agree with the format, though?
Yeah, I agree with the format.
I don't, because here's the thing. You mean to tell me that FBS can't do what FCS has been doing or Division II has been doing, where they play a full bracket? Like how Lenore Ryan has made a run for a few years in the past and a full bracket and have won a national championship, or at least gotten to it. So you mean to tell me that Division II and all this can get it right, but we still have to rely on committees deciding?
I agree.
Like, and that's what I mean by you got dumb people making the most important decisions because they're overcomplicating it. It should be so simple. So, gentlemen, you ready to pick some games? Or, is there another thing you want to talk about?
No, I'm just getting it. I just want to make sure that
we just want to make sure Tom understands this rankings.
I just want to make sure one more time that I agree with Kevin's method.
The format.
I agree more with Hunter, but with Hunter's selection of the teams. But if you're going to really do this, Kevin, you explain to me why in Oklahoma, who was beaten by Iowa State and before yesterday had an identical record, how in the world is Oklahoma ahead of Iowa?
That's the reason I said when I saw Oklahoma 4th, I was like, whoa, my Lord, Oklahoma's was terrible.
No.
I'll say this.
They're better now.
I am the one out of the two of us, me and Kevin, that do this podcast, who watches more college football. So that's probably why I have more of an input better on teams.
Well, Kevin will tell you don't like college football.
You know why Kevin? You know why Kevin didn't show up? Because Coastal Carolina went down there and beat those mountains. Well, of course they went down. They went down. Boone came to Myrtle Beach, right?
But then,
they went.
Then I get this remark saying quarterback is terrible. All I done was sent back. He's 29-5 as a starter. That's pretty good. I don't care.
He was saying App's quarterback was terrible. Was that who he was saying?
I had an individual that told me. Yeah.
Why don't you just admit that your boys went down to Coastal Carolina and got beat?
I'll say this, though. It is nice to see another team, at least regionally.
In the Carolinas.
Yeah. In the Carolinas.
And how they looking at
having
Coastal
success.
Carolina and Liberty playing for
that conference championship. Yeah, absolutely.
That'll be a good game.
All right.
In Liberty, I will give NC State a little credit. I didn't think they could play that good a defense, Terry, and I watched that game, and I was like, I said on the show last week that NC State doesn't play like a defense, but
they have got better.
Yeah,
they have got better, but I'm also sitting here like, okay, we might have got better on defensive end, but as far as penalties, boy, we kick ourselves in the face. We kept letting Liberty just stay in games on account of us making mistakes. But anyway, it come down, and what did we have to do? Block a field goal to win the game. Come on. But, Liberty needs to fix that because that's not the first one. When they played Virginia Tech, it happened. But they
hit
got
the second
lucky.
one.
Yeah. So
Kentucky having a terrible year. They're going to Florida. Does Kyle Trask continue throwing for at least 3+ touchdowns?
Yeah,
today?
they beat Kentucky. Geez, Alabama totally embarrassed Kentucky last week.
Yeah, they did.
And I picked that one right, Tom. I said they wipe them out.
But you also told me I was wrong on Rutgers, Michigan, and you told me I was wrong on
Well, I'm going to tell you
Oklahoma
what,
State.
Rutgers.
That was a good
we
game.
want to talk about Rutgers and Michigan, and it took 3 overtimes.
But who won the game?
Yeah, you're right. You won, but it took everything they had.
I knew it'd be a close game because Rutgers.
You just wait this week, and we're getting ready to get that game in a minute. But I'll tell you who's going to win that one game.
Okay.
All right. Next, Big Ten game. Indiana is hosting Maryland. Tua's brother going into a to me, still a red-hot Indiana. You can say it was a good loss to Ohio State, but they played you hard. They played you very hard.
They were down 35-7, and we quit.
They played very hard. They
Sometimes
came back. You got to play a full game.
Ohio State just cannot play 4 quarters. I don't know what it is. I mean, and they needed this game today to get straightened out, but we're talking about Indiana.
Does Maryland go into Indiana and get a win?
All right. Is Tua playing? No, it's not Tua. It's his brother.
I can't remember his
I like
brother's
Indiana.
name.
And if Tua was playing, maybe I'll go with Maryland.
I like Indiana in this game, too. Terry, do you like Indiana?
Well, I thought that was my game. Yeah, I'd like Indiana.
I'm just going for
I'm
the
sorry.
group.
I'll go ahead.
See, there's not as many of us here, so I'm just.
I didn't know we were both.
And if you think about it, we're ahead of schedule, so we can talk on it a little bit. You know, sometimes we run behind schedule.
Last week we picked like 175,000 games.
We don't have to do that today. I won't bring up the App State games and whatnot. You know, we'll just go with Power 5 games.
All right, so we're gonna do him, then me, right?
That's fine.
Okay.
We'll do it that way.
Let him have this one.
All right.
I don't want this one. It's your time.
All right, it's my turn.
Fine, because he wants the next one.
Okay.
Texas Tech at Oklahoma State. Tom?
Man, Oklahoma State's been a little banged up. I don't know if I wonder if they're starting quarterbacks back. I don't care. Give me Oklahoma State anyway.
There you go. Terry, Penn State at Michigan. Somebody's got to win this game.
Michigan did win, but you know what? This is where Penn State gets their first victory. Michigan's terrible. Harbaugh, if he should be on his way out.
They changed quarterbacks.
They did.
Yeah,
they did. And
I would take Penn State if it was at Penn State, but it's at Michigan, so I would take Michigan.
I've seen Michigan Harbaugh needs
we're
to
not
sign
choosing.
up and bail out.
We're not picking that one, or that one. We'll just do this one because it's a local one. Actually, no, because it's probably going to be a blowout. Tom, do you want to pick SMU at East Carolina?
No.
Okay, well then we won't. NC State at Syracuse, because you're non-biased to this. I'm not asking Terry.
Oh, that's good.
NC State at Syracuse.
Man,
Who do you got?
Syracuse has gotten blown out in a couple games. They've played Clemson a little bit tough, but is NC State going to be on a hangover? Because that was a big win against Liberty, but it's in the Carrier Dome, right? It's up in Syracuse.
Yes, it is in Syracuse.
I still like NC State. I think they're going to ride a little momentum here and get them a win.
North Carolina State could finish 8-3.
That's a good year. That's a good year. Congratulations, Terry.
Well, I mean, I'm not. I mean, of how we started and the way that Doran says it's been a long year. I mean, it could end up being a good year.
We're going to pick this one because it is one ranked opponent, and it's one that we've really got to keep our eyes on because they got a good chance of finishing undefeated. Coastal Carolina at Texas State. Does the run continue, Terry?
Yeah, Coastal.
Texas State's terrible.
I like Coastal Carolina in that game, too. We're not picking that one, or that one. Here we go. Tom, you get the good one. Iron Bowl. Auburn at Alabama.
With no Nick
Saban on the sideline. Is it that big of a difference?
No, I mean, Auburn's played some good defense. They're not bad, but they've just not. Alabama's on a whole different level. I think I could probably go down there and coach Alabama and beat Auburn today. So I'm going with Alabama. As much as I hate, and I don't know how much he makes a difference on the field. I know that he gets all the good players to come to Alabama.
It was about a 2.5 point swing when Nick Saban possibly was not going to coach against Georgia, and then he ended up coaching against Georgia, and it went up by 2.5 points. So that is what we think of that. Pittsburgh at Clemson today, the return of Trevor Lawrence for the Tigers.
Yeah, Pittsburgh, don't get me wrong, they're not a bad team, but you're going to Clemson and forget it. Trevor Lawrence is back. What's the spread on that game? Do you know?
Ooh,
that's a good question. Well, you don't have to look at it, but
I can find out in a second.
I guarantee Clemson covers the spread.
Probably.
I think this will be a game that they try to identify themselves again because of the game last week.
This next game, it would go to Tom, but he is not in here right now. He's got a phone call, which is perfectly fine. It's going to go to you. And to me, it's one of the most important games of the day, only because it's got so much riding for this team on a possible playoff berth. It is Northwestern at Michigan State. Northwestern is 8th in the nation right now, and they're 5-0. And they cannot look they cannot have a speed bump right now in the Big Ten because then the committee will always just look at what Ohio State does if Ohio State manages to hold on and have enough games to even qualify. So this is huge for Northwestern because if they win this game, they're a solid 2 games above Ohio State on wins. And Michigan State, they did beat Michigan this year. They've got decent wins, but they've also got some bad losses. I don't know. I feel like this could almost be a trap game for Northwestern because they're on such a high right now.
Northwestern wins.
Yeah,
I'm not.
Listen, I'm not picking
Michigan State. I don't know. Sometimes they play decent, then next week they play bad. But a win over Michigan. I mean, who is Michigan now?
If you look, I can agree with that. If you look at how Michigan is right now, at the time it was big.
Yeah.
But if you look at what Michigan is now, you're like, is it really impressive?
And does Northwestern play? Well, they'll play in a championship, Mike.
Yes.
Yeah. So
yes, they do. And I think in Northwestern, I mean, I know that they've canceled another game this week, but they've got on paper better wins than Ohio State does. They really do. They've beaten Wisconsin. Okay, that's a big win.
And that's like Tom sitting here talking about Ohio State. After you get up on somebody 35-7 or whatever it was, it's kind of hard to stay in gear one mode.
You're right.
I mean, you guys fall back. You putting in a few subs on account of the game's out of hand, and you're not running with what you would really run. So, and all of a sudden, they got back into the game and, made it a little bit closer than what it was. But when it come down to the end, Ohio State did what they had to do to get the W, and that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. I'm looking forward. We won't pick that game. The Egg Bowl is today. Ole Miss and Mississippi State. 2 new head coaches on the season for both teams, Mike Leach and Lane Kiffin. Yeah. Those are big-name coaches, but not really having the success that they want, obviously, in their first year. At least Mike Leach at Mississippi State, they're struggling. Who do you have in the Egg Bowl?
I'm going to go with Lane Kiffin. I think Ole Miss will pull this one out. It'll be close. It'll be another one of them games that comes down to the fourth quarter, but Lane Kiffin will win it.
I agree. I like what he's doing everywhere he goes. Because he got shafted when he took the Southern Cal job. He was coming in after Pete Carroll and that whole mess that they had there. He had done a good job at Tennessee.
I think a lot of people look at him like wherever he goes, he's not going to stay there long. Next opportunity comes up, I'm jumping. And which the USC job and then him to go to Tennessee, I don't think he really got enough, from the coaching part of it and the faculty to give him enough time there. Yeah, he didn't produce like he should have at the start, but then he was bailing out and going somewhere else. So you got to give him time.
I think what helped Lane Kiffin, too, was I think that season and a half he spent on Alabama's coaching staff. Oh, yes. I think that really helped him a lot, too. This game is still going to be played. LSU at number 5, Texas A&M. Does A&M roll?
Oh, yeah.
I think they roll,
LSU's struggling. Which, they lost a lot of guys to the
I think they said they lost
NFL.
Like 22
That's what
players.
I'm saying. I think they only had 2 that come back out of a team like that. And then people want the coach's job. Come on. Get real.
This is a weird year. Just lay off of Coach O for a minute. I like Coach O, too.
I like Coach O. You got to give the guy credit. He can't lose that many people. Then all of a sudden, y'all said, we're bailing out. No, he's not Alabama.
No.
You don't have the guys coming there every year and doing what Nick Saban and all his people are doing down there.
And he just now has the credibility where he can start getting players like that because they just won a national championship. Yeah. That's what's helped Clemson, Ohio State, and Alabama get all these recruits in Oklahoma. They make the playoffs and they win championships.
Yes.
That's what the kids want. Georgia at South Carolina.
Oh, Georgia, easy.
I think they found their quarterback.
Yeah. South Carolina's struggling and got a lot of things going down there. I know a lot of people who are South Carolina fans, and they're not used to this. They're not used to losing every year
and
because South Carolina was no one say elite program, but they was able to compete with other teams in the SEC.
The mid to early Spurrier years, they were really good when he started to tail off a little bit. It's like how Mac Brown was at Texas when he started to tail off towards the end of his time at Texas. That just happens. That he steps down, but the university says probably in his ear, do you want you to make it look good and you step down or us fire you?
Yeah, there you go.
And that's kind of what they did with. But that wasn't the case though for South Carolina. As they let go in a pandemic year, they fire Will Muschamp.
Yeah.
So South Carolina looking to rebuild. Maybe I'll apply for that head coach job.
There you go.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I could get that. There are some Pac-12 games today. We will pick those because the rest of these are hot garbage, just so we can have a few more games. Utah is at Washington. Who do you have in this game?
I'm going to take Washington because they're playing home. It'll be close, but Washington will pull it out of 10.
Yeah, I like Washington as well. So Utah's kind of struggling. And then Arizona at UCLA.
See, I have a hard time picking UCLA on anything.
I don't think Chip Kelly's the guy.
No, I've not thought that since he got there. They're at UCLA?
At UCLA.
I'm going to take UCLA. I don't like it, but I think they'll pull this one out.
I'm going to go against you there and just take Arizona. I just don't say UCLA can continue to be bad. I mean, they're losing games that they should win. And and, you know. It's just weird. But one other game that we will pick, and I know I said I wouldn't do little dumb games, but it's going to be played Tuesday, 1st of December. Western Kentucky will be here in Charlotte playing UNC Charlotte. Who wins that ball game?
Western Kentucky.
Yeah, I was taking Western Kentucky.
Yes.
UNC Charlotte, you are slowly climbing.
How many games have they postponed this year? That's what
Charlotte.
gets me,
I think they've
3.
Well, I know that they postponed the Carolina game. Let's see. So they canceled 1, 2, 3. Yeah,
that's what I was
3.
thinking.
What?
3.
4.
Okay, well, I
wait
thought it was 3.
Wait a minute. Look at this.
That's what I'm
no,
saying,
this is
man.
more. So they canceled the Carolina game. They postponed the Georgia State game. They postponed the Florida International game. They postponed the Middle Tennessee game.
That's 4.
Canceled the Gardner-Webb game and postponed the Marshall game.
6 games.
In football?
For this, we're just talking about UNC Charlotte.
Oh, okay. Yeah, UNC Charlotte's had a hard time getting the game, and they've had some issues.
They're struggling.
Wonder how they pick Player of the Year.
They won't.
I don't know.
Whoever did the best in practice.
I do not know.
Yeah,
But
do I need to make any picks, or did Terry make them all?
we just went through there. We let you take
Yeah.
care of that.
Okay, thanks.
I will ask you this one because this is a very important game, Tom.
Which one?
This is a very important game. Who wins the Egg Bowl? Ole Miss or Mississippi State?
You know, I saw Ole Miss once, and I was impressed with them offensively.
Mm-hmm.
But then I saw that some of their results have not been good after that Alabama game.
Right.
And Mississippi State did have the win over LSU to start the year, but then it turns out that didn't turn out to be.
Yeah.
And they've lost some ball games. So where's this game being played?
It is being played at Mississippi State.
What's the spread?
I have no spread on it right now.
spread.
I did not pull the
See,
spread.
Kevin always has the spreads. I'm gonna give Kevin. I've been beating him up all morning,
Oh,
but I
my
will give
goodness.
Kevin a little credit.
Hunter, now it's your fault.
Now it's your fault.
Yeah, it's my fault.
I guess in this one with both teams, that have shown maybe a little bit of promise here, and then not promise. Got to go with the home team. Two pretty good offensive minds in this game.
Tom, that's not a good pick. Oh, I'm sorry.
I haven't made the pick yet. Mississippi State.
Tom, that's not a good pick.
But I like it when you say that because every time you say that, it's actually a good pick. So Mississippi State.
Mississippi State.
You got Leach versus
Mississippi
Kiffin.
State
This gonna be
is
good.
not favored. Ole Miss is favored by 9.5.
I like Mississippi State.
Okay. There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
Put that on the picks.
And that is the picks for college football. And when we come back, bum, 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 bum. I got to stop that. I'll get DMCA'd. It is the NFL. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back right here on KTCBroadcasting.com.
When is being different a good thing? Well, at Friendship Jeep Dodge Ram in Forest City, our customers say we're different. Look at our Google reviews. They say we're different too. We have the region's only non-commissioned sales force. We use no haggle, clear choice pricing, and we have the only lifetime warranty with no time or mileage limits. When our customers leave, they say, that was a great experience. And that's where we're most different. That's Friendship Jeep Dodge Ram, and we're located in Forest City.
If you've been shopping for a new freezer at one of those so-called big box stores, chances are you've been getting the cold shoulder. Well, warm up to the idea of shopping local at Hendrick Appliance and Mattress Center in Shelby. Just arrived a huge new shipment of freezers, many sizes to choose from, ready to go. 4, 5, 7, and 14 cubic foot chest freezers, priced as low as $219. Come see the selection today of new freezers in stock now at Hendrick Appliance and Mattress Center, 1241 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby, online at hendrickappliance.com, and see their page at whatsupshopper.com.
Spending too much time at home with nothing to do? Then go shopping. That's right, go shopping at whatsupshopper.com. Local area businesses are featuring their products and services on whatsupshopper.com. You can also play our contest, listen to the swap shop, and more. Make it one of your favorites. There are also valuable coupons from area businesses. And as they say, let your fingers do the walking and shop online at whatsupshopper.com. You'll love it. Buy 3 tires and get 1 free at Butler's Tire and Auto Service in Kings Mountain. For a limited time, when you buy Westlake or Pantera or Blackline tires, you'll get 1 free. And it includes a 1-year road hazard warranty with a premium alignment purchase. Plus, you'll find tires by Goodyear, Dunlap, and Kelly. And be sure to ask about their $99 brake special. Plus, inspections and alignments by certified mechanics with friendly service. The new Butler's Tire and Auto, 404 East King Street in Kings Mountain, right across from KFC.
Take advantage of a special offer on the versatile Kubota BX Series subcompact tractor. Switching attachments is simple, and a smooth hydrostatic transmission makes for easy operation. The Kubota BX Series, the #1 selling subcompact tractor in the U.S. for over 10 years. You own the land. Now, make it yours. Get the Kubota BX 2380 for payments as low as $99 a month.
Your Kubota dealer is Parker Farm Service, 126 Bessie Drive, off Highway 74 at Oak Grove Road, Kings Mountain. If you're in the market for new flooring, go to this area's most recommended flooring store. That's Flooring America on Slater Street in Kings Mountain. Flooring America in Kings Mountain is where friends send friends for their flooring needs. And right now, you'll find the ever-popular luxury vinyl plank for only $2.99 a square foot. That's right, only $2.99 a square foot, all during the Fresh Start Flooring Sale. Give your home a refresh with one stop at Flooring America, 602 Slater Street in Kings Mountain, online at flooringamericakingsmountain.com.
And we're back on Saturday Morning Sports Talk with Hunter Yancey, Tom Sinfani, and Terry Reinhardt.
Thank you.
Amigos.
Yes, we are back. Thank you, JP, for bringing us in. We are getting ready to go on to the NFL.
Okay, before we do,
yes,
Friendship Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram is our proud sponsor of Saturday Sports Talk. Call them it. Is this Saturday Sports Talk or Shock Jocks? What is it?
Saturday this is still
Talk.
Saturday Sports Talk.
Okay. Yes. All right. Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, 190 Oak Street Extension in Forest City. Call them at 828-919-3001. My brother is a proud patron of Friendship, by the way. He and his significant other have both purchased Jeep products from Friendship. And Friendship Nissan, 156 Oak Street Extension, Forest City, North Carolina, 828-245-1661. That Nissan Rogue looks like a fun vehicle. It looks like you can pretty much use that to go grab your groceries, to, go to the beach, throw all your luggage and stuff in there. It looks like a good little fun vehicle. Like I'm saying, I wonder if they have a tow package on that. I've got to find that out because like I was telling Hunter, I'm getting a camper. So give me a little Rogue. Give me a little tow package on there. Haul it around.
He's just going on a cross country trip.
Going on a cross country trip.
Wow, you technically could, since you're teaching mostly online.
I could. I could just do that.
Since you're going to do that, Tom, you need to set up shop right beside Kevin's house, and y'all can go over these pics.
No. I don't care to go.
Y'all could have a gazebo in between y'all, and y'all could discuss every day.
I'm just telling you, he trolls me with this Ohio State stuff. I mean, I know what he does, but I've already proved his polls bullcrap by Oklahoma being because what's he always say? Who beat who, Tom? Who beat who? Who beat who? It's like, okay, well, Iowa State beat Oklahoma, Kevin. So why is it like that?
Oh, man. You love to hear it. Love to hear it. NFL. NFL. And the talk of the week for NFL. We can't talk NFL and not bring it up. It's Washington beating Dallas. Yeah.
I actually suffered.
Yeah.
I suffered through that rather uninteresting game.
How can anybody?
Okay, let's talk about the fake punt. Now
let's talk
I'll
about
I'll let y'all do that.
Fourth and inches.
No. The fake punt. If you look at the film,
he was open.
It was there,
but he didn't even look to pass.
But it's like, have you practiced that? Because it didn't look like he knew that his first option should have been to throw the ball, which was wide open. It was good design.
Yes,
it was good design.
The guy was wide open.
And they were trying to call out Mike McCarthy during the press conference and basically say, take responsibility, admit you're a fool.
Yes.
And McCarthy was like, I like the call. Oh, but you know why I like the call? Because probably in the film room, when they show that guy, they're going to say, what are you thinking? The guy's wide open.
Throw it.
Surely you would not have picked that guy to run the reverse if he was not capable of making that throw. I mean, I know that this is a cliche, but literally, I could have made that throw, Terry. He was that wide open. I could have made that throw. So I'm not faulting McCarthy.
Oh, I'm sorry. I worded that wrong. Washington waxed Dallas.
Yeah,
all of a sudden, Gibson looks like Barry Sanders. You know what killed him?
I like Antonio Gibson.
Yeah, he's good, but
you can't stop Terry McLaurin.
You screwed up on the fake punt, and then you let Gibson run in there like it's flag football.
This is what happened. Terry, the game was over on the first drive for Dallas. You lost your 2 offensive linemen.
That hurt them. They had a lot of injuries.
The game was well, and I'm not saying Washington would have went on to hold 41 on you, but the game was over when you lost those offensive linemen.
When you sat there and you asked McCarthy, and I'm back with Tom, about that play, and he don't even want to discuss it, like it was good to run it. Come on, I've been
He's
a
got to have
Cowboy.
his coaching staff's back.
Yeah. When Falsey's decent. Falsey is the one who asked you who you were. When y'all were down here.
Yeah, when we interviewed him at the Super Bowl. He wanted to know our names. Yeah,
that's exactly right.
He's a nice guy.
I like the guy. I have nothing wrong with the guy. But if you are doing that, the score is 20-16. We're in the game. Every player believes in what we're doing, and then we run this play. And I'm like everybody said on television. First of all, you've already gave up 3 because Washington's going to kick a field goal no matter what happens here. You've already gave up 3, so you're asking your defense to step out there and stop them. And then Gibson runs for a touchdown, and then all of a sudden it goes from 20-16 to 27-16, and you are done. They have talked about the coaching staff for Dallas for the last 4 or 5 weeks. Said these guys don't even know what they're doing. And you took a team who was believing that they're in the game 20-16, should have been 20-20 if and I still go back because the guy who run
McLaurin.
Yeah, McLaurin, yeah. He's the one that ran him down.
Smith
Ohio State.
Yeah. But Vandross had a chance to bump him and just barely touch him, but I guess he was thinking
he didn't want to block in the back.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If I hit him, are you going to get me for blocking in the back? And I understand everybody, so he had to let him go. But then Dallas, what do? First play, we lose 2 yards. Then we run another stupid reverse, and Dallas has done that quite often this year that amounts to nothing. And then we ended up with C.D. Lamb. The ball was there. He should have made the catch.
Should have.
He should have made the catch.
He should have made the catch.
So we're talking about a game that should have been 20-20.
The DBs were just right next to him, but they didn't even put a hand on it. It was just
it hit him in the hands.
Yeah.
And he should have made the catch. But I'm so tired of every week of the player. It's not about the players no more. And don't get me wrong, Dallas is playing a lot of guys a lot of money, but it's about the coaching staff. You're putting your players in bad situations and asking them to get out of it.
And
you cannot do that.
And Elliott.
The fumbles again.
Elliott is not helping you.
No.
I'm not sure.
Leading the league in fumbles.
I'm not sure what's wrong with him. I mean, and like they're trying to say that he's lost that quick burst through the hole and all that. I don't really think that. I think it's mental with him.
I think it is now. I just think it's part of now I'll put it like this. Played on a lot of teams in my lifetime, but when I played softball, they would be teams that I would go play with that I wondered why I was there. I mean, we were bad. And when the team's bad, you play bad.
Yeah.
You don't have the drive in you no more.
Yeah.
To do stuff.
The mental.
Yes,
the mental.
you do not have it. And if you make out, so what? Everybody else does. Who cares? And I think that's what's happened here. I think Zeke's mental part of it is not with him no more. He does not have that line in front of him to make him better. I got to struggle for every yard I get.
His backup has played better.
Yeah,
Tony
Pollard's pretty
Pollard,
good.
Pollard,
yeah, he's
when
pretty
he
good.
got in the game, I mean, he was playing more and more too. I mean, he's been playing pretty well, but they've got a dumpster fire down there in Dallas, and I don't know what they're going to do. Really.
But you know the worst part about it, and Calvin sent me this when me and him were discussing, because me and him was even asking after the play, like, well, who called that? You know, and I was the same way. But when you sit there, we're like, only one game out. Think about it. If Philadelphia loses to Seattle, here's the worst part.
Which they will.
Well, think of this. If the Giants beat Cincinnati, the Giants are in first.
Yes.
They're ahead of Washington. They're ahead of everybody in the division. And guess what? Dallas still has to play the Giants. They're only one game back.
Yeah, but do you
as bad as they are, they're 3-8.
Do you want to make the playoffs at 6-10? There may be a 6-10.
I don't know whether
that
you
would be a
can
record.
win
There's
6
never been.
wins.
There's
I don't think
never,
the winner going to win.
There's
6
never been a 6. I think the worst has been 7-9.
Last
the
week,
worst is 7-9.
Yeah.
last week.
Yes.
But the difference in draft picks between Philadelphia and Dallas from being just where you are in the division was huge. It was huge just because there are other teams in the league that are so bad. So if you're Dallas, I hate to say it, but you have to look at yourself internally and say, is it even beneficial for us to win at this point?
Yeah, tank.
Or because, you know, a lot of people,
Why?
they hate when your team tanks, but it's one of those
I
things
hate
where.
Well, what's Dallas going to do? Draft another wide receiver, which they don't need.
Or
they need to.
You're not going to get.
You're talking
you're not
about.
Gonna get
You're not going to
Lawrence.
get Trevor Lawrence.
I never
J-
said
J-
Trevor. I never
three.
said
or
Trevor
Fields.
Lawrence.
I don't think you'll get Fields. or Lawrence.
There are still quarterbacks that are going to come out this year.
Do you not
Zach
think,
Wilson and Kyle Trask will rise up in the draft, and then everybody still likes the kid out of North Dakota State.
They're not going to do that. Dallas is not going to go get a quarterback. They're not
when
going to
they
do
got
it.
Prescott.
Terry, then why have they not committed to Dak Prescott?
They're going to give him 1 year. They're going to go back in there and fill that 1 year as a daggone franchise.
So you're going to franchise him, and the franchise goes up because it's the second year, and you're gonna pay him $40 million.
Yes, 37 to 40. So, I mean, that's what they're going to do. I'm telling you, that's what they're going to do because they believe in him now because they see what a difference. And with everybody back, you know where Dallas is going to go? If their pick is so low, they going back to the offensive line. They got it. I mean, they got to stout that back up because that's cost us all year long. We've not had a full line out there any game that Dallas has played.
Do you draft an offensive lineman, or do you address the second to third worst defense in the league?
The second or third worst defense last year was in the top 6 in the NFL. I don't even want to hear that.
They lost some guys from that.
Yeah, what did we lose? Byron Jones?
Yeah, but
That's big to lose a corner.
You know when Dallas's defense has got better is when Jerry Jones and them started dishing people. They got rid of 2 corners and they got rid of a defensive end right in the middle of this year, and Dallas's defense got better. Now, against Washington, that game was close. That game was turned around by a dumb call that Dallas made that the whole team just quit.
It was there.
You know, I mean, that's just me. We end up getting beat.
It was there. Why is it a dumb call? It was there.
Yeah, when it's 41-16, they didn't beat us that bad.
Yeah, I know.
The team quit.
Huh?
But why do they keep
The
saying
team quit. Dallas quit.
the fake punt wasn't?
So you just bent over and took that waxing.
They did.
That's what you did. So you did get beat. It was a waxing.
Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah, in a quarter and a half, a quarter and 2 minutes.
Listen, I will say this though, as a Washington fan, that defense is legit for Washington.
And Chase Young, I enjoyed watching Chase Young play. It was the first time really getting to watch him.
Are the 6th overall defense in the NFL. We got the number 1 pass defense and the 10th best rush defense. That front 4, when those 2 linemen went out, I knew it was going to be a field day for us because we've got first rounders at every position on our front 4. We have got young skill positions, and Antonio Gibson is very good at running back. He's a rookie. He's going to come around.
I was impressed.
Terry McLaurin, to me, is a top 5 receiver in the league right now. People just don't want to say it because he plays for Washington. But and he can't. He's had the most receiving yards through a certain amount of games, more than Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, and everybody. He is legit.
And Alex Smith is playing pretty well.
Well, I'm gonna
That's
tell you,
the problem.
Well, huh?
That's the problem. I like Alex Smith. Do not get me wrong.
He's the best you got.
He's not playing bad.
Listen,
He's
this,
better
but
than
this, but
anybody
this is
you
what
got.
I'm saying. That's what's going to hold us back if we don't draft one.
Oh yeah,
Because I know what Alex Smith is. I have seen his peak, and it's not taking us
well,
to the
he's
next
35
level.
years old.
I know,
Playing,
I know that,
yeah.
but we got teams out there. Tom Brady's 40, and Drew Brees is 40. Ben Roethlisberger's in his late 30s. Like, some of them can still play, and if Alex Smith can still play, great. But he's not on those guys' levels at his age. Like where Aaron Rodgers is 35, 36, he still looks like if Aaron Rodgers was to somehow become available at his age, and you would look at me and say, who are you going to take? If they were the same age, Alex Smith or Aaron Rodgers? You would take Aaron
You
Rodgers
get
every
ready to
time.
have your chance. Tom Brady's not going to be at Tampa. You're going to have opportunity to get him.
Here's what.
That's
here's
the only thing I'm saying is holding us back is the quarterback position because we've got young talent in good spots.
But he's not a game changer. What he is a premium backup at this point in his career, and he's proved that
At
because
this
he's come
point,
in.
yes.
He's come in and he's played very well.
Yes, and it's
all things considered.
And his last
what
two
that
games,
man has been through. What that man has been through.
His
it's
last
amazing
two
he's on the
games have
field.
been a good confidence builder because they've been. I'm not saying easy, but they've been winnable games with Cincinnati and Dallas.
Those games he should win.
You're supposed to beat
really.
bad teams.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So,
but now if we want to go back to the game,
but then I have to look at it this way: do I still like? I know we're in first, but as a fan, what good is it going to do us if we're getting a middle of the first round pick? We still need players. This division is just bad. Okay, it's not that we're a good team,
and you don't need to make the playoffs. If you make the playoffs, your pick's way on up.
Every single one of these teams in the NFC East does not need to make the playoffs because they need draft picks. They need players still to become a legit contender.
Now, Terry, what were you wanted
well,
to go back to the
I
game?
mean, I know when we keep talking about Dallas got beat, and I'm the first one to say it here, Dallas quit. And I don't blame them from coaching mistakes that you do not do in a
Did you
football
just say
game.
it's okay for a team to quit, Terry?
I did Thursday.
You just
I
said
absolutely
it's okay
did
for a team to
because you should never put your team in situations that they have to. Oh, right now we're going to have to bail our own self out of here on account of a dumb coaching move that just happened. You know, that's how come they've been saying that for the last 4 or 5 weeks. The coaching staff has no clue of what they're doing, and that's what happened. You do not do that. But now here's my other question. In the first half, when Dallas has the ball and we're on our own side of the field again, and it's 4th and 1 and you decide to go, here we are again with Elliott in our backfield, and we do not give him the ball again. We want to make a pass to a rookie CeeDee Lamb, which is a good guy. I ain't got nothing wrong with CeeDee Lamb. But on the other end of it, a ref has to make a call. Because the ball was thrown, CeeDee Lamb got hit way before the ball ever got to get
Talking
there.
about on the one he dropped?
The one that hit him almost.
It was the fourth down.
Oh, the fourth down pass, yeah.
And the one that the corner or whoever was guarding him had his hand around his face. He couldn't even see the ball coming, much less make the catch.
Bang, bang, play, Terry.
Wasn't no bang, bang play. You know exactly what I said. There should have been a flag.
We won't even talk about the Detroit Texans game because Detroit's a joke still as an organization.
But Deshaun Watson is quietly having just an awesome season. I mean,
without Hopkins.
Yes. I mean,
think of that.
Their 4 wins are against the 2 against the Jags, Detroit, and another bad.
But he's playing well. He's playing well. Give him a little bit of credit.
Okay.
Watson's
whatever. Fine, whatever.
So is J.J.
The
Watt.
third,
Had a pick six.
and then the last thing we'll speak on before we just get into picks. Do you think the NFL is handling the Ravens-Steelers situation correctly? There's pushing the fact that they're pushing it back days, or do they just need to try and use that because they said they were going to hold a week like 17 or 18 at the end of the year, where if they just had to cancel a game completely, they could play it.
Why
do they cancel it or do they just play the game?
Why didn't they give them a 1 year? You can add more players to the 53-man. Why didn't they just expand it 1 year to 60? You see what I mean? And that way,
like how baseball did, the something like taxi rosters.
Expand it. Let everybody carry 3 or 4 quarterbacks.
You can still bring somebody up to replace any COVID player. You can bring them up from your practice squad.
Yeah, but you need to have 60 on. I'm
sorry you're playing Pittsburgh and all your guys have COVID. Play the game.
If they play, starting quarterback be RG3.
Well, is that going to hurt him? No. He's a backup. That's why you're a backup.
Hey, He plays the same style. He played the same style Lamar did when he came
But
in.
he's not.
And I'm not
he's
a
not
Pit-
Lamar
see, here's the
Jackson.
problem.
Listen,
I'm
I
not
will
a
say
Pittsburgh
this.
man.
Everybody's going to hate hearing me say this. Robert Griffin is not anywhere near the speed and shiftiness. Now, he was when he came in. He was before he got hurt. Yes. Throwing the ball wise, RG3 has a better arm than Lamar Jackson did. So I don't know if that makes them harder to guard. Obviously, listen, and I'm not saying RG3 is going to revive his career this way.
He's not.
His arm and his throwing ability is better than Lamar's. Because the problem is Lamar's had a lot of games where he's not even gotten over 150 yards passing. And so the offense has become predictable.
Play the game. It's simple.
Just
play the game. I'm sorry.
When I looked at them, I couldn't believe they were 6-4.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So they're going to be 6-5. That's what would have happened.
Well, then guess what, Terry? Cleveland's in the playoffs.
Yeah,
All right.
That's true. I don't have a problem with that.
1 o'clock games. Raiders, Falcons in Atlanta. Do the Raiders continue to ride high? I know they just lost to the Kansas City Chiefs, but they played them hard and it was close still. And they already have one win on the Chiefs earlier this year.
John Gruden's playing well. I'm picking the Raiders. Is it my pick or Terry's?
It is yours.
Yours. You took it.
Well, I'm picking the Raiders, although I will be pulling. I hope this pick is on bad picks because I need the Raiders to lose. Helps Cleveland.
Okay. That's a hard thing.
Oh, well.
Chargers traveling cross country to Bills Stadium up in Orchard Park. Chargers and
wins.
Bills. That's exactly
Buffalo.
right. That's exactly right, Terry. I love to
I
hear you
appreciate
say
you
that.
saying that.
Absolutely. Giants and Bengals. I thought this game would have been really interesting to watch if Joe Burrow wasn't hurt.
Yeah.
But now that he's hurt,
Done.
who you got, Tom? Giants, Bengals.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I don't even know who's playing quarterback for Cincinnati.
It's not Finley. They changed that. It is not Finley from NC State.
I think the Giants got a little momentum going here, so I'm going with the Giants.
Titans, Colts battle for first place in the AFC South.
Indianapolis Colts. Philip Rivers doing what he is told to do when he comes.
Terry, you're gonna hate hearing me say this. Actually, no, you're gonna love it. I love that pick.
He's hurt.
I love that pick.
He's hurt.
Hey, but he's always been a statue, though.
Yep.
Panthers in Minnesota against the Vikings.
The Panthers are so hard to figure out, aren't they? I mean,
Bridgewater is playing this week.
Give me the Panthers.
And they had McCaffrey listed as questionable, but Matt Rule shut that down. He's not playing.
He's not.
So you're taking the Vikings.
No, I am not.
Oh, you're taking the Panthers. Oh, I'm writing mine down. I was going to take the Vikings.
Can you stop Cook?
That's going to be tough.
Yeah.
That'll be tough. But Vikings got a bad defense. Y'all proved that when y'all beat them. Cardinals, Patriots. This is in Foxborough. Bill Belichick has always had a great game plan for mobile quarterbacks.
Well, I want to tell you something. Every time I go against New England, they win. If I bet it the other way, I don't know. New England. I'm gonna take New England.
You'll regret that.
I will. Every time I
I'm
pick
taking Arizona. Dolphins, Jets. This is in New Jersey. It's starting to get cold up there, but this is the only thing I'll say. The Jets are bad, but Sam Darnold is playing this week. So I know what the Jets are going to do. They're going to try and show him off so he has trade value for when they draft Trevor Lawrence.
And Tua's got a hurt thumb.
He's questionable.
Fitzpatrick keeps both teams in the game. So, I mean, if he plays, it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
I think Miami's got enough. They've got a good defense. They'll get by the Jets.
I like that pick. This one should be easy. This used to be your day in hell, but Browns, Jaguars in Jacksonville. Now, this is really a one-sided affair.
Oh, you got to let me pick 2 in a row. It's Terry.
That's Terry.
Oh, you got to let me pick this?
Unless you want to pick Tom. I mean, I know who you would pick. But
no, that's Terry. Go ahead, Terry.
Cleveland will win.
Cleveland, no Myles Garrett, no Denzel Ward.
Cleveland 7-3,
no
3 games back.
Saints go to Mile High, play the Broncos. Taysom Hill in Denver.
I thought the Broncos played very well last week. I watched that game. It was the game of the week on CBS, I guess. But they've struggled, and so I just don't think they can pull that. They can pull that twice off. So Denver's going to lose this game.
Terry, 49ers and the Rams, and I like the Rams.
Yeah,
they look good last week. I watched them a little bit too. They look pretty good.
With that, this is the biggest game. Chiefs, Buccaneers in Tampa.
Tom Brady likes throwing the ball to the other team now. I guess when Bill Belichick can't tell him exactly what the other team's going to do every play, he's not as good. And it's kind of funny how Arians calls him out for it. You know what I mean?
All the time.
All the time.
I mean, it's
I
really.
understand he's the coach, but I just want to say, how many rings you got, buddy?
Yeah, but it's a little easier to play when you can manipulate the footballs and your coach kind of steals all the information illegally from the other team. So we're kind of seeing Tom Brady maybe exposed a little bit. Everybody says, I'm not going to take anything away from him. He's still a great player, but maybe not quite as good without Belichick. Terry, would you say?
I would agree.
Maybe not quite.
Chiefs.
Both like each other.
So I like the Chiefs.
You're taking the Chiefs. Bears, Packers, Trubisky, quarterback this week for the Bears.
Packers.
All right. I like that pick as well. Final game. I'll let both of you pick. Seattle, Philadelphia in Philadelphia.
Seattle.
Yeah, Seattle's going to win.
I like that pick
you know
as
what?
well.
Here it is. The rumor mill has it that Jalen Hurts might replace Wentz after they gave him all that money. Then they're going to put Hurts.
Got to do something to create some sort of spark. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, it's officially 10 o'clock. Our time is up, and we are going to get up out of here. We want to thank everybody that has tuned in. Once again, Tom, let the people know exactly.
Thank you, Friendship Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, for sponsoring this morning. If you want to go see them, 190 Oak Street Extension in Forest City, North Carolina, 828-919-3001. Or Friendship Nissan, 156 Oak Street Extension in Forest City, North Carolina, 828-245-1661. Give them a call.
And with that, that'll do it here for Saturday Morning Sports Talk. We will see you guys next Saturday, or tune in Mondays and Wednesdays from 2 to 4 on KDC Broadcasting Facebook page for Shot Jocks. From Hunter Yancey, Terry Reinhart, and from Tom Sinifati, JP, send us away.
Come on, you know me, 'cause that's who I am.
We always tell thing is a money tree. But did you know at Friendship Nissan in Forest City, we kind of do have a money tree? Our money tree gives a $500 better price on any new Nissan, and that's a $500 guarantee that we put in writing. We have no haggle clear choice pricing, the region's only non-commissioned sales force,